Hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Please
All right,
tap the
man.
screen, share the live. What's up, man?
Hey, dude.
I seen you in the comments and all
You
of that, and it
you've
was
been getting
interesting,
after
wasn't
it
it?
today. You've been really getting after
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It was pretty good.
How's the lib recruiting going?
It's been actually pretty good. I already recruited somebody. I recruited
I
somebody, and
I heard
it's.
you were getting Janae. That's what I heard.
I'm sorry. What?
Or maybe it was Stacy. Was it Stacy or Janae? Which one did you?
Listen, bro, I didn't do none of them. In fact, after this live, I will have to repent. So,
For thinking about it too
for
much?
thinking about it, yeah, I just
Yeah.
think about it too much. Yeah,
It's
ooh,
hard for you to stop thinking about it. Yeah. It's tough, dude.
wait. Hold up, come out. Don't make me invite one of them to debate you, bro. Don't make me
It
do
won't
that.
last long. They'll just yell at me, which is fine. I haven't been yelled at for a while.
You haven't been yelled for in a while?
No, I
Weird.
mean, I listened to Bushmaster talk for a little bit earlier today, so that feels like I got yelled at. And, but no, nobody's really yelled at me. Not even
Look at
Jen. Dude, Jen's been like surprisingly cool. I don't know what's going on. It feels like she's planning something. She hasn't yelled at me in so long.
Did you see how she went up on a panel and was just duking it out?
No, I didn't see that. Was that
Oh
today?
my god! Yeah, that was in Amanda's live. She went up and we debated some of the maggots.
It's not a
It
good
was
idea to
interesting.
argue with Jen. It's not. It's not good for your health.
No, it's really not at all. No, I don't think they realized. But once that dude realized, he just shut the fuck up real quick.
That's
I was
terrifying.
like, holy crap!
Did she put it up on the YouTube channel? Is there a Jen in the Wild?
I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure it will come out one day.
She records everything. It's out there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So what did we learn today, Admir? What's the topic of today?
Well, I'm
The
really
TikTok
interested in,
streets.
well, the whole topic is, the quote-unquote insurrection that's happened in California. So we've been going back and forth, and, they'll sit here and talk about how there's all of these things happening in California, but they will not acknowledge when I bring up, what happened 4 or 5 years ago. Um, that happened in the past, so we shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah,
We should only,
there's a huge
yeah.
difference between those two things. One of those things was 100% political. It was about a politician. And the other thing is about policy. Like, Americans are free to protest. They're free to, like, use their voices. And if they get violent during those protests, they should be arrested. But there's a big difference between why people are protesting in LA and why people were protesting in DC. One of those things is real. Like, people are actually being deported. Trump didn't win in 2020. The election wasn't stolen. That was just a bunch of dumb people who were like, we're going to go fight for this fairy tale and we're going to attack the Capitol building. They're not even close to the same thing. That's bananas to even compare the two.
Well, I made that point several times, but nobody wants to, listen. It's always whataboutism, and
Yeah, but not the
everybody,
same thing. Like,
but
nobody's in there. Yeah, I don't see any Joe Biden hats. I don't see any, like, Kamala Harris shirts. They're literally there saying fuck ICE and, like, stop deporting other human beings. It's not the same thing. That's them protesting against the policies of the government. They're not breaking and entering. They didn't try and obstruct an official process to try and overturn an election. These aren't the same thing. This is like the protest you're supposed to have. Like, America was built on these type of protests. Whether you like it or not, this is how we were built.
yeah, and listen, I made it very, very, very clear. I am all for protesting peacefully and all of that. And I understand people will get emotional, rightfully so. But I don't think anybody in their right mind will support, the destruction of what might not, or what is happening. You hear stories, but I think that if you're doing something nefarious, you should be held responsible. It doesn't matter what side you're on. If you do something that's dumb, then you should be held responsible.
I think we've got.
Oh shit, Jen is here.
I've been here. No, I didn't record myself in the wild.
Don't add any context to that, Jen, for anybody who just got here. Make sure not to add any context to what
I mean, I went back in the comments later in Amanda's and started some other rumor about Amanda and I, so that's what I do. But anyways, looks like it's somewhat opposition, I'm guessing. If it's not opposition, if it's someone that we know that's trying to pretend, I'll just kick you out. So if you're opposition to RTP, send a request, like the live, share it, all the good fun stuff. So
thanks, Steve Club. But I had to kind of go back and forth on that whole thing, and I don't think I can compare the two. And so I'm very interested what's gonna happen. And to me, this is just me. I've said this. I think Jen has heard me say this earlier. Is this just my opinion? I wholeheartedly believe that this is a distraction for the fuck shit that happened a week and a half ago. And I'm talking between Elon and Trump with the whole accusation. Because you don't hear a lot of people talking about that at all.
Yeah, but why does that matter? I think this is more important than that.
I agree with you, but I think both sides want to see the actual files. And I think the more and more that you have distractions, that more and more they're just going to put it on the rug. And by the time he leaves, it's just going to be another shit show.
I just think that might be, you could be right, but to me it feels like you might be giving them too much credit. Trump operates in chaos and they don't have a real plan. And their plan is just to, do whatever the fuck they want. And whenever anybody comes up against them doing what they want, they exercise power and they exert power. However, it doesn't really, I don't really know what their intention is. It's impossible to say. But effectively, wherever you are on the political spectrum, whatever you believe, it's crazy to think this doesn't end in or it's crazy to not think it's a real option for this to end in martial law. I don't know if that's their plan, but Trump will never back down. And so this entire, how far this goes is entirely dependent on how far these protesters are willing to go and how far protesters everywhere are willing to go, because we know Trump won't back down. And that's a pretty terrifying place to be at, and I think MAGA would agree with this. There's nothing Trump won't do. No matter how hard they hit Trump, he'll hit back twice as hard. And that's just gasoline on the fire. I feel like as the president of the United States, as the leader of the free world, you should be the one who's capable of lowering the temperature. And he just elevates the temperature everywhere he goes. He's such a fucking wrecking ball. And it's turned us into a borderline stupid, hateful country. That's kind of where we're at now.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point. But MAGA 2028, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Admir. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. Have we ever spoken? You sound familiar.
I don't think we have ever spoken.
Okay. So thank you for coming up. The way this works is RTP, he does debates, and you guys can talk about pretty much anything and about anything. The only thing that I ask is no over talking and no personal name calling. That's the only time that I will kind of step in. But if there's a topic that you want to talk to him about, go ahead and start it off, and I'll just go on mute and I'll get educated from both sides. Fair enough.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Thank you, Admir.
Absolutely. Have fun.
Yeah. So RTP, like, are you against the Marines going into LA and controlling the disorderly behavior that's happening?
I'm not sure what. I might have missed it because I haven't seen exactly what they're going to be doing yet.
Oh, okay.
Do you know?
I mean, the Marines have been called upon to go in and control the conduct. I just didn't know if you agreed or disagreed with that.
If they were being called in to control the conduct, and again, I haven't seen the exact order, but if they're being called in to control the conduct, I have constitutionality concerns about that. It's not their role.
Well, how do you feel about Gavin Newsom not telling the authorities to not arrest people for the conduct that they're doing?
Which conduct?
Like the looting and the brick throwing. He's saying to the police officers, "Don't arrest these people. Don't."
When did he say that?
Oh, you haven't seen that?
No. So not arrest people who are throwing rocks at cars?
Absolutely.
I'm looking that up right now. I'm on Twitter. I don't see.
He said it's a peaceful protest. Don't make any arrests to anybody doing anything illegal.
No, I don't think he said that. I think you're making that up.
I'm absolutely not making that up.
I can't find it anywhere on the internet. Do you have a source for that?
Yeah, hold on one second. I'll get it for you.
Sure.
If you go to la.gov.
la.gov, okay.
Yep, and then you type in Newsom's order to...
That's Louisiana.gov?
No, it's...
la.gov takes you to Louisiana.gov. Are you sure you didn't are you sure you're not just looking at a picture of something that maybe somebody faked?
Hold on.
That's what it kind of sounds like.
Okay, my mistake. It's la.ca.gov.
la.ca.gov. Tells me it's not a secure site. That's not good. Let's see.
I literally just looked at it.
la.ca.gov?
Yeah, it said Gavin Newsom orders police to not make arrests with rioters and looters.
All right, well, I'll just Google that headline. Where are you getting this? Is this just a screenshot or something? I don't think that website. No. I don't think la.ca.gov, lacity.gov is their website. I think what you're looking at right now is a meme, bud, and I think you might have got caught getting lied to.
No, I did the research before I came up.
Well, the problem is that website doesn't exist, and the LA City website is lacity.gov, which I can pull up.
That's what I said.
You said la.ca.gov.
No, I said .city.gov.
All right. Okay, where do I go after that?
So, in the search bar, look up Newsom orders police, no arrests.
Pulls up.
Okay, just out of curiosity, sir, are you able to, and I don't want to intrude, but are you able to turn on your camera and just show what it is?
Hold on. I have it on my other device, but let me see if I can show you the screen on the other device. Hold on.
I just searched it. It pulls up no search results either for that. For exactly what you told me. You said Newsom orders police no arrests.
And we were talking about that. Yeah, we were talking about that. Lagoon and I were talking about that earlier, and somebody made a claim about that on Amanda's live. And nobody has been able to provide anything. So I'm definitely interested where he's looking.
Yes, active bystander. I'm with you there. I probably agree with you. I think that's on. I think it's incoming. It's usually the case, but I hope not, because this is such a cordial conversation. Look up unclaimed property in Louisiana.gov, though. Is there anybody here that... I don't know. Look, how do you do? That's pretty cool. Anybody in here from Louisiana? I can just give me your name and your city.
I wouldn't mind living down in Lafayette, Louisiana.
No, I think this is for people who already live in Louisiana. It's like money that they're owed.
Yeah.
Not just like anybody, Admir. What is your full... Admir Libmir is your full name, right?
I'm sorry, what?
Admir Libmir? Is that your full name?
No, it's just Lib dash Mir, M-I-R.
I heard you got clipped saying you were a liberal earlier. Is that true?
Yeah, and I'm supposed to send... I was given an option to send Goon music, like what kind of song I wanted, because he's going to be posting a video. He clipped it. So, yeah.
Nice, dude. What'd you choose? Sorry, Magaman's back.
Oh, my bad, Magaman. Go ahead.
Sorry, I misspoke. It was gov.ca.gov. My apologies.
Gov.ca. So governor, okay. And then I'm looking at... I'm supposed to search Newsome orders no arrest. Right?
Yep. I got the article pulled up.
There's Governor Newsome files emergency motion to block Trump's unlawful. Newsome suing Trump for President Department, signs landmark legislation. President Trump's militarization is illegal. Then we have stuff from like October 8th, 2 and 3 days ago. I don't see anything like that, dude.
Did you say October 8th?
October 8th? That was...
Yeah, that was more than 2 or 3 days ago, but yeah, there should be...
Isn't today like the 10th or 11th? 10th?
Well, today's June, but not October.
Oh, I said... No, sorry. Then I said then it goes to October 8th. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying. Sorry.
No. So, okay, I get it.
So I see something from a day ago and something from 7 hours ago. From a day ago, it's Governor Newsome suing President Trump and Department of Defense for illegal takeover of CalGuard unit. And then today was Governor Newsome files emergency motion to block Trump's unlawful militarization of Los Angeles.
I'm looking at the article right now.
Will you read it to me?
Hold on. Let me grab my other phone.
It's crazy that it wouldn't pull up on this end.
I'm texting a MAGA person that I know. Maybe it's the MAGA sources. Hold on a second.
What's the date of the article? Thank you, chat.
The date of the article was 2 days ago.
Hey, Jen, are you there?
Can you read it?
Well, you know what I just found out?
What's that?
I just discovered that the article was posted on theonion.com.
That's all right. We've all been duped before.
On the what?
The Onion.
I've been duped by the Onion before.
You never heard of the Onion? You never heard of the Onion, Admir?
No, sir.
Admir doesn't think certain things exist, but it's okay. Do you need something, Admir?
Yes, if you can do me a favor.
RTP.
Well done.
RTP.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was well done, but Admir didn't get it. Admir never got it.
So I'm not.
But Admir,
yeah, whatever. Yeah.
I drove your views up by 200 people. You're welcome.
I was more troll. I was wondering.
A fucking 100% troll. I mean, RTP got it when I said theonion.com.
Oh, okay. I was half listening, in fairness.
Oh, man.
You were coming in hot, weren't you?
Who, me?
This is bugger. God damn it.
Admir, I drew your viewers up by 200 people, my guy.
There you go.
Okay, my bad. Thank you, though. I appreciate that.
No, it's all good. I love y'all. Fucking with you.
That's not Fuzzard. Is it?
Golly, Buzzard.
It's not Fuzzard, is it?
Yeah.
No way.
It took me a man.
Who do you think it is?
It's not Fuzzard.
No, you don't know me. I've talked to Admir before in Hogbox
Admir doesn't know
Live.
voices. I know voices. It's not Fuzzard. Fuzzard wouldn't
Hold on,
laugh.
time out.
Those are too many complete sentences.
Yeah, I've talked to you in Hogbosses Live before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
not Fuzzard.
okay. I thought it was Buzzard, I swear.
Well,
No, it's
Honestly,
not Fuzzard.
these Onion articles are pretty good. Like, protesters urged not to give Trump administration pretext for what it's already doing.
No, bro.
That's pretty good.
The Onion is fucking amazing. It's if
Just
you don't
great stuff right now.
you could do a live on all the Onion articles you wanted to ever.
The problem is MAGA would believe it. They'd start sharing it, and I would blow up on
Stop.
Older millennial would just start copying all my shit.
We were getting along just fine until you said that.
well, hey, Tom,
have a
I
good
just
night.
sent you an invite in the comments. You've been chirping a lot. So how I do things is if I send you an invite, you get 3 times, and you get full muted for the whole live. So that's how it goes. So I'm not there. That's how it goes. So, second invite.
I know I've seen Goon come in, and so Goon, I will be sending you over a song that you can do with that video, sir. So, yeah. Uh-oh. Jen is pissed. Jen is pissed. See what you did, Mega Man? You pissed her off.
I didn't do shit. I don't know what you're talking about. I was sitting up here all quiet. I was being all quiet and being a good boy.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
There's 2 of you?
Jay, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Just now, yes. Now I can.
Oh, I was talking. I don't know.
I didn't hear nothing till just now.
Oh, is there anybody else in the box?
I can't see nothing. Jen is the only one that has access.
That's right. You are actually like pretty much worthless here, huh?
Well, listen, would you like me to invite Jeff? I mean, you can always,
No, I can't. No, I'm too high for Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Jeff is difficult because Jeff isn't a debate. Jeff is a puzzle, and you're just trying to like stay with him or maybe a maze. You're just trying to stay with him as you get through space. Nobody knows where they're going. You have no idea where it's going to end up, but it's real easy to get lost. You just kind of hold on for dear life with Jeffrey.
Oh, man. That's amazing. Jeffrey's a hype man. Yeah. He's the best at it.
He's the best in the business. Nobody ever made me feel so good.
Say what?
Never mind.
No. Go ahead and repeat that again.
No, never mind. Never mind.
Go ahead and repeat that one more time, sir.
I heard it. After I said it, I heard it. I understand what you're doing right now. I don't appreciate that. I understand.
I'm just saying, you said it. I didn't.
I know, and you're focusing on it quite a bit now.
Yeah. Because
I was trying to move on. What's going on?
But I didn't get to watch your show today. So what What did you talk about in your show today? Normally, I get to watch it and then just sit in the back and, you know.
I gotta be honest, I don't remember. Let me look.
What the?
So, hold on.
Golly.
What did we talk about? I mean, we talked about the big beautiful bill. We talked about that a little bit. We talked about the protests. We talked about RFK just like gutting the CDC, just like getting rid of the whole vaccine advisory board. That's absolutely insane, and we're just gonna pretend that that's not fucking insane. That he got rid of the whole board. And he's like, they've approved too many vaccines, so they're all fucked. And he's just not a doctor. It's just a guy who's not a doctor is in charge of the CDC now. And he's like, I'm tired of all these fucking doctors hanging around telling me I'm wrong. You gotta get rid of these motherfuckers. And then he did. And he just got rid of them all. It's just gonna be like your favorite. Like, I think House and Habit will probably be on the vaccine board. Like a bunch of Maha moms. We're not gonna have what's that shit that goes in the water? No more fluoride, no more vaccines. We're all going to be we're going to drink colloidal silver. Like, it'll be part of our school lunches. We'll finally start paying for school lunches for kids, but it'll just be colloidal silver. And, like, maybe you just sniff like a jar of germs so you can build up your immune system. I don't know. We're living in the dumbest era of America. We've never been dumber as a country. It's so bad. It's so embarrassingly bad. And the people who think we're the dumbest are the ones that are like, it's 2025. Fuck science. I'm so tired of science. And then they're just not doing science anymore. They're like anti-science. I saw Utah went off of fluoride. My cousin is like, I saw it. They showed like the picture with Governor Cox and the two people that they say like responsible for pushing the bill through. And one of them's my cousin. I was like, fuck, that's not good. So sorry about that. It's my family just banning fluoride.
Traders, what's going on? Why you guys mad?
Oh God, is this the same
What's going
person?
on, dogs?
Hello.
Hello.
Is this the same person that was just here like 5 minutes ago?
Probably not. But you guys are retards. Have a nice
How are
day.
you going to hit him with a probably? He can't. Yes or no? The fuck is that?
Oh, probably not. It's all right.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
yeah, Lee. It's like, hey, yeah, you know.
It took him a long time to switch accounts. That sounds right. For a guy that used that argument the first time, it took him like 15 minutes to just get on a different account. Pope.gov.ca.
Wow. That is
That's
probably not.
Vladimir, why?
Oh, hey, Amanda.
Why?
How are you?
Why are you requesting?
Listen,
me
we were on your listen. We were on your live, and I actually enjoyed your live today.
Oh, thank you.
That was
It was a very
the
good
first
live.
time. Yeah, that was the first time that we actually had a good conversation. We had some.
You admitted to being
we
a
had-
liberal, fully, completely out the closet. I'm proud of you for that, though.
Oh. Do you see what I have to deal with, RTP?
You requested me up
These
here,
maggots? Yes, and I did.
so continue.
I did hear that
So
same
can you-
story. I brought this up earlier. It does seem like something I'll go back on mute. You may want to address this, Admir, though. People are wondering.
But as far as the lip mirror thing, is that what?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, I need to get educated on what a liberal actually is. So I can't be a liberal if I don't know what the hell it is. You know, as I've said before.
Conversations you have with like regular human beings, and you're not really
Yeah.
talking politics, but you're talking about like things that like we talk about when we're political, and you just get to the end of it, and you're like, oh, we can agree on that.
Shit.
Like right at the end,
Bernie.
right at the end of that, when you all agree on things, that's what being a liberal is. It's just where you come to a conclusion that like you're not going to fuck with each other so much, and you're going to let people just live, and then you're liberal. But if you
Oh,
stop
well, then
before
me and
that and
Amanda are
say people
definitely
have
liberals.
to, I'll let you guys discuss that. I heard a Bernie
No, I mean, I'm
2028.
definitely, listen.
I know
Alright, guys.
somebody from my live.
Yeah, I actually have the clip of that where she said
But-
that she would vote for Bernie in
Okay,
2028.
I'll own up to it. I'll own up to it. Hell yeah, Bernie 2028. Yeah, I'll own up to it.
Hello, hi everyone.
Hey, Will.
I'm- I'm glad you admit. I guess you admitted to that. I guess you're going to vote for Bernie if he runs again. We'll see what happens there. But how are you all doing today?
I'm doing good. Well, I don't think I've ever spoken to you, but I guess we're following one another.
Yeah.
Are you a Trump
I've
supporter or come
I'm
on?
a Trump supporter. I follow a lot of. I have a lot of followers. I guess that's what I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah, but you wanted to say I follow a lot of liberals, right? So go ahead and
No,
say that.
no, I don't want to say that. Don't put words in my mouth. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm very good at speaking the truth that I feel or whatever. But no, I wasn't speaking for liberals. If that's okay.
So, I mean, so would you like to have a conversation with RTP?
If he wants to go any kind of direction he wants to go, yeah, I guess so. Sure.
Okay, so I don't know if you've ever dealt with me, but the way this works is I will go on mute. Just before I go, hey, Jen, will you do me a favor? Can you mod Amanda as well, please? And then
If he wants to go any kind.
can you mod Amanda as well, please?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and then
If they
we'll
see
wait.
me up here, they'll come in here.
Oh, wonderful. Great. So,
I feel like I'm pitching older millennials scam right now, and we're just trying
yeah,
to.
I know. It's like, yeah. And then
If they
we'll
see
wait.
me up here, they'll come in here.
You can talk about anything you want as long as it's cordial. The
Yes.
only time that I will come into play is if one of you guys starts calling names or interrupting, I'll just shut both of you guys down. It's very simple. RTP will
Yeah,
talk on
easy.
any topic that you would like to talk about. And then if you don't mind, go ahead and start it off. I'll go on mute. Amanda will stay on mute till she drops, and you guys have fun. Fair enough?
Yeah, fair enough. I guess I'll bring up. I'll bring up why California and Los Angeles, the riots I know are going on right now. But I seem to agree that Trump can have all rights to call in the National Guard, and we all know what it's about, correct?
No.
It's about deporting criminal illegals. That's what I was going to say. It's people that are criminals. They're not deporting American citizens. If you don't believe, they're having.
Well,
if you-
sometimes they are.
Give me a point then. Give me a proof of an American citizen that had been deported from. If you can point out a fact of somebody that you know in California or Los Angeles that was an American citizen being deported, I'd like to hear that.
Sorry, are you saying the protest? So maybe I don't understand what you're saying. Are you saying the protest is about deporting
No, they
people who are
don't
here
like
illegally?
ICE. They don't like ICE. That's what the whole issue is.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
That's why it started like that. And
Sure.
Gavin Newsome is a scum. I don't like California.
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't move there for my whole life. I stay in the red states of Texas. I like to afford prices, and I like the way the red states run. But that's just my opinion, RTP. But
Sure.
you do agree it's about the ICE agents. That's why they're rioting, correct?
Well, I would probably argue that they're not rioting. I think that there's been some
they're protesting. But if
Sure.
if they're violent, they need to be thrown in jail. And
Yeah, I think they view it as inhumane, and they view that it's their constitutional right to protest, to speak out,
but I
to
don't think
assemble.
it's okay to throw shit at the ICE agents, and they're
Yeah,
trying
nobody
to get
does. Nobody
I
thinks
mean,
that that's okay.
I've seen a lot of stuff, but I
Okay,
don't.
well, I don't. Let's say that I don't either.
Okay, but you agree with me that if anyone throws rocks or throws bags of pee at officers, should be arrested.
I agree. But do you agree with me that if you are there and you are protesting peacefully, that you shouldn't suffer the consequences from
Yes.
somebody else? Okay,
I agree.
because I do
Yes.
feel like that's what we're running into right now. Is that there were there doesn't seem to have been much of a need for the National Guard, and it does seem like you can imagine if you live in LA and you know the history of LA and you know the history with the police and the citizens, specifically like minority communities in Los Angeles, like the history isn't good. And so anytime you send in the National Guard, like just like realistically speaking, that's like it's borderline PTSD for these people. Like they're like not again. And so it gets people elevated. And my biggest contention is that Trump is supposed to lead the country. He's supposed to unify the country, or at least be a leader for all the country. And every time he has an opportunity to like calm things down, he chooses to escalate. That's my big problem with him. I think it was fucking stupid. The courts will decide if it was constitutional or not, but it was dumb and it made things worse.
Yeah, I mean, in your own way. I mean, but I'm a law-abiding citizen. Are you?
Sure.
Okay, so you do know
Trump's not though.
But you do know by the
right.
laws.
Wait, but right though, just so we're on the same page. But Trump's not, right?
What do you mean Trump's not? No, that's not what I see. But okay,
He's not a convicted felon.
Nope, he's not a convicted felon. Nope.
So this is, I think, one of the problems we have with having like honest discussion in this. Hold on. I think one of the issues that we have in like trying to have an honest discussion is you are pretending that you have this principled stance right now about like if you break the law, you should be dealt with. Yes. And if you don't follow the law, you should be dealt with severely, like with the National Guard. But if Trump's a convicted felon, no problem. When Trump refused to give documents back to the FBI to the point they had to raid his house, it seems like that you guys blame the government when they raid Trump. But if they go, just let me finish real quick. But then when they go after people who are committing no crime, they're just using their First Amendment rights, and Trump goes after them, then you guys seem to think it's justified. I don't think you hold the principled stance that you're pretending to hold, that it's about following the law.
Okay, he's a convicted felon, right? He got convicted in New York, right? Which was on a bullshit law. The actual, the court, the judge.
Excuse me, where'd you get your law degree? Where'd you get your law degree?
Hold on.
Just real quick, where'd you get it? Just real quick, where'd you get it?
Don't have a law degree, but I do know.
Okay, so what you're gonna, the reason I don't care to go down this road is a jury. Excuse me. The reason I don't want to go down this road is neither you nor I practice the law. Right. Judges who are paid to do this, a jury of his peers, including people who supported him, found him guilty, and the appeals court upheld the conviction. So I think this is the silly part that we have in like, you don't really care about the law. You just care about when it's applied to the left. And so instead of having this conversation about like, is it about the rule of law? Let's have the real conversation. What I'd like to know from you is why can you not point to any time since Trump has been in office that his department has raided a mostly white establishment or made videos arresting white people? There's tons of white people that are here illegally.
Yeah, no.
Why would you assume that? Why do you assume that they haven't made any videos?
I haven't assumed that they haven't made any videos. I would have to see concrete evidence of proof of people being. I know people do get it. I'm saying, do people on that color doesn't matter? Like they get arrested. Whites do get arrested too. So
not when it comes to deportations.
No.
So is it really about who came here legally or not, or is it about specific people that you would like to apply the law to?
Specific people we would like to apply.
And that's where we disagree. I think the law should be applied evenly, and you think the law should not be applied evenly. You should think it should be heavy-handed towards minorities and not equally handed towards white people.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I think it should be...
Excuse me? Wait, excuse me. You just said... It's exactly what you just said.
What?
You just said that it should be applied to specific people, not everybody.
But what I mean is like felons, gang members, people that are people that break our laws, people that
they just raided a Home Depot. They're raiding courts. They're raiding workplaces. These people aren't criminals unless you say that the crime is that they are here illegally. In which case, we're back to the point: why aren't they deporting any white people? Why are they not going over finding Russian immigrants or Ukrainian immigrants or Scottish immigrants? And when they take videos, why is it always somebody Hispanic?
I haven't been keeping up with those videos, but all I can say is, like, white people do go to jail still too, right? And
we're not talking about going to jail. We're talking about deportations,
right,
sir. Please stick to deportations. Are we deporting? Are we deporting almost exclusively brown people right now?
No. But what you're doing you're okay. We're sitting in a jail cell, right? You don't have a life, so you're about to be
What the hell are you talking about right now?
When you're in jail, it's almost like you're being deported. Basically, you're sitting there eating.
We're not putting white people in jail either.
Not just white people. I didn't say just.
No. When we are doing these raids are targeted at Hispanic communities.
Oh, what? Oh, the raids. Okay, so
yes.
I didn't know that evidence. My bad.
Yeah,
I didn't know why they
doesn't. So for me, the problem that I have here is that Trump comes in and Trump loves to talk about law and order when it's going after his enemies. And by the way, and then he talks about law and order while he does things that are like blatantly unconstitutional. And there seems to be this new attitude among conservatives that's wild and technically legal, but wild. The new, like what Trump is doing now is he's just saying, where can I find loopholes in the Constitution where I can get away with doing things nobody has done before?
Has Biden done things that shouldn't Biden be charged with the same crimes or worse that he had broken the law of the United States and letting illegals come into our country? You don't think
you can't prosecute a president for actions they take as the president?
No, I know that, but I'm just saying.
So what are you talking about?
But then why did you charge Trump? Because he went after, because they went after a political opponent.
What? No, he got charged. He got charged. He got charged.
To get him.
No.
That's all it was.
Excuse me. He got charged with financial crimes.
You hate the man. It's Trump.
See, this is where we lose. This is where we I lose you as somebody who's like serious about having a discussion, because your argument now is narrowed down to you just hate him. You can't rebut a single one of these points, and now you're just up here. This is where we lose. This is where I lose you as somebody who's like serious about having a discussion of that.
I can, but I don't know why you don't.
Just not gonna. You just chose not to. Your argument now is gonna. You just chose not to.
I'm enjoying your conversation, even though we might disagree on certain.
Chose not to.
I chose not. Just have a normal conversation on.
Well, why are you just saying this right now? How are you not looking at this conversation going, I couldn't answer a single fucking question. Maybe I'm wrong. Where is the we talk about alpha culture and we talk about so entitled. I never meet anybody on the right who's willing to be like, early Admir's one of them. But if you don't have answers, why aren't you open-minded to this idea that maybe you're just wrong?
I do have some answers. What answer did you want?
Any of those questions would have been good for you to answer.
Well, is he a convicted felon? Is that what you want me to say?
Is he?
Yes.
Okay, so does it seem like you only...
No, I'm not going to say that.
Okay, but you want them out of the country because there's such a problem. But you voted for a guy who's also a criminal.
The people that break our laws and unalive or...
Which laws, though? When we're raiding these workplaces, these people don't have criminal records. Most of the people who have been deported don't have a criminal record unless you are counting them coming into this country as breaking the law. And in which case, that's a misdemeanor. That's a misdemeanor. Trump's a felon.
Yeah, but a misdemeanor...
But deport them, though, right? Deport them... That's why it feels like your argument against them is bullshit. So they should go. You don't actually hold that standard. You seem to only apply that principle to Hispanic people. Right? Who else should leave the country then? How about all people who have abused a child?
Yeah, I mean that would be a fair.
Took a minute. Okay, so what are we going to do with the churches that collapse?
What are we going to do when the churches collapse? Well, we wouldn't have a religion then. Well, we still would have a religion, but I mean, the people that had done something bad to a child, then yeah.
Okay, so Gotcha. What about if they have like
If they smoke
sexually
weed,
assaulted somebody?
sexually assaulted, yes.
Okay, so Trump's got to go?
No. They should have to.
No, not Trump. What about Pete
No.
Hegseth? Does he need to go?
Who does?
Pete Hegseth?
I need to look who that is. I
That's
don't know.
the Secretary of Defense, sir.
Okay, well, I don't keep up with.
Yeah, so he's got to go too. Not Trump, not Pete Hegseth,
Not RFK.
not RFK either. When he sexually assaulted his babysitter, he's got to stick around.
Yeah, well,
And what do all those people have in common? White, Republican. Got it. I remember now.
okay. Well, look.
How about Jim Jordan or Matt Gaetz? Should they go?
If they were found guilty, yes.
How about Hillary Clinton?
Hell yeah. If she's
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. You're not serious. You're
Yes,
not
I
a
am.
serious human being.
I'm
That's
serious.
crazy. That's crazy.
You hate-
You're like a maybe on people who have sexually assaulted women, but Hillary Clinton's a definitely.
Definitely.
What did Hillary Clinton do? What was the crime she committed?
She used the email and sending emails
Her
to
server. Okay.
her server.
You're
Yep.
aware that Trump used a private server, and he's currently using a private server? But he doesn't need to go, right? Not Trump.
No,
he
doesn't
shouldn't
need to
go. No, not Trump.
Because
No.
we have a.
So far,
we
it
have a
seems
level
like
of coverage.
Hispanic people. Sounds like just Hispanics and women need to go. Liberal women and Hispanics seem to be
No.
the people you're most interested in deporting.
No, I'm interested
well, so far
in
that's all
deporting
you've
the
named.
people that are violent and don't live by our laws. But the United
Okay, so the January 6ers.
yeah, I would say they would have to be charged, and I don't know why they got a pardon, but that's
Oh,
that's
because
honest.
Trump gave them a pardon.
Yes, I know.
Remember
he did.
that? Did that make you mad?
Kind of upsetting.
Kind of.
But, I mean, I wasn't even there.
But you're very concerned about the small amount of violence that's happened in LA, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we're very concerned about that. I'm kind of concerned about January 6th. It's all right, but these
Hey,
fuckers in LA, not only are they criminals, but they're Hispanic criminals, so they got to
No,
go
they're
too.
not Hispanic
Yeah.
criminals. Now you're putting words in my mouth.
Oh,
RT.
okay.
You're
It
putting
felt
too
like
much
that's what
into
you're
my
saying.
mouth. You're
Sorry
putting
about
too
that.
much. You're putting too much information that I never said.
Just relax your throat. You can get more in there.
Okay, but that's
God damn!
he's so bad. He's so bad, RTP. But I'll mute for a second. But if y'all want to bring up any different conversation, we can. But I don't know. All I was gonna say is like we all live by the same laws of the United States. If you come in this country illegal, don't you think you don't have a right to steal they were helping people out? The state of California was actually giving those, New York was actually, and California was giving those people Social Security.
Not Social Security.
And
Not Social
200
Security.
and
It
2,000.
wasn't, real quick, it wasn't Social Security.
It was
I think
$2,000.
they were able to get on Medicaid, and I think in
Yes,
some
Medicaid.
cases SNAP. Yeah, what the state of California, and that's like
Oh,
a state's
but
rights.
but
And that's wait, hold on,
Republican
because remember real quick, you don't live in California, and you wouldn't, and states have rights. And so the
Yeah, they
states,
do.
because of how our Constitution operates, the states get to determine how they disperse their Medicaid money. And so their state made that decision. They're allowed to do it. It's okay if you disagree with it. But again, thank God you live in Texas, where you don't have to worry about that, right?
Right, exactly.
Right.
But
But you're very worried about it happening in California, so we should deport people. Got it.
Or the stupid tax that for driving. That's what they were trying to do in California. Every mile that they were going to have. To
Yeah,
pay
you have a lot of thoughts on a
tax.
place you never want to live. I guess.
No, I don't want to live there because I don't. I don't
This is
deal
the thing,
with
and Will, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Well, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but like what I'm trying to find on this app is a MAGA who stands for like fucking anything. And it doesn't seem that you, like, honestly, politically, it doesn't seem like you stand for anything. It seems like you just want to spout off a bunch of things that you've heard that are bad about the left, but you don't seem to know much about, like, your own party or what they're doing. So I'm going to ask you questions about your party
I
so we
do know
figure out,
about
like,
that.
what you believe. Now, this upcoming big, beautiful bill is projected to increase the deficit at a record rate. Are you comfortable with increasing our deficit spending at record rates so that we can give billionaires a tax cut?
No.
No. So why aren't you talking about that? Because that seems like that's going to affect you a lot more than things that are happening in California.
Yes, I think it would.
So why do you think it is that you wind up talking about California?
Oh, I don't know, because it's a shitty place to live, and I wouldn't live there.
Because they don't want you to talk about the bill, anything but the fucking bill that they just passed, the handout they gave to billionaires. Talk about anything but the stuff that affects you. Like, the reality is, Will, the things that affect you most in your life are going to be the amount you're taxed, the amount of money you get to keep at the end of every year,
Yes.
and that's going to be, and that's like, unfortunately, the deficit can contribute to that. Can you get decent health care if you get sick or you get in an accident? Will you be bankrupt for health care? All those things that actually matter to you, Republicans won't do anything about. Republicans won't do anything about that. So they have you fight these. So they have you fight these culture wars. They have you just focus on like trans people and protests in California.
Democrat runs the state of California.
I'm not a Democrat.
That Medicaid, that they chose to send Medicaid to the illegals, and they decided, that state decided to do that.
Yeah, they voted for that.
So how hypocritical are the Democrat Party? I mean,
What?
think about that before you even
Hypocritical of what?
of spending our tax money and using it for illegals on the.
That's not hypocritical. They don't claim they're against
you
that.
You always complain about that Republicans want to take away Medicaid and health rights, and we don't.
Yeah,
want
we're giving Medicaid, and you guys are taking it away. Yeah, that's my core issue: is that you guys want to take it away.
Democrats are taking it away. That's what you don't.
They're
want
giving
to
it to more people.
That's what you don't want to realize.
No, they're giving it to more people.
You don't want.
They're giving it to more people.
No,
They're not taking it away. They're giving it to more people.
yeah, they're giving it to more people. So
I'm on board with that. Yes, give it to more people.
I'd say, what people are we talking about? Are we talking about billionaires?
I think everybody in America should just be able to go in and see a doctor, and it should be paid for by taxes.
That's ludicrous. Except for
wait,
that's a liberal thought. That's a liberal thing.
Every other country in the world doesn't. Why?
Because they have a smaller population. It's not.
Why would a smaller? Wait, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have health insurance?
Yes, they do.
Who's your let's just pretend it's Aetna, okay? So you don't dox yourself. Let's pretend it's Aetna. Do you think Aetna wants more customers or less customers?
More customers.
Why?
All healthcare would want more customers.
Why do they want more customers?
So they can make more money, and the people that eat are like. Anyone that gets sick, they have to pay more for that person to help them out, correct? So the
bill's spread out amongst more people, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so why wouldn't we just take all 330 million people in America, pool our money together, and cut out the middleman who's making billions of dollars for writing us a check? Why don't we just cut them out? And we do the exact same thing they're doing, except for none of our money goes to pay a CEO $50 million. None of our money goes to pay for sales reps. None of our money goes to pay for commercials at the Super Bowl or billboards. It doesn't. It just goes right into our healthcare. Why don't we just do that?
What about, does it go to taxes and building
taxes? Or are you saying Texas or taxes?
Taxes.
No, you pay taxes. You mean you go to taxes?
Oh, we'd still have to pay taxes?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, if you look at Bernie Sanders' Medicaid for All plan, they compare the average American right now spends $13,000 a year on health insurance. And this projection's from like 3 years ago, so the numbers are probably higher on both ends now. But the Bernie Sanders plan, Medicare plan, would cost the American taxpayer somewhere between like $8,000 and $12,000 a year. So anywhere to almost the exact same amount or slightly cheaper. And everybody would have health care, and there would be no copays, and there would be no deductibles. That means when you have to decide whether or not to take your medication or pay your rent, that decision is gone. And we probably save a little bit of money. But we can't have that because Republicans keep telling you that the government is bad, so government-run healthcare would be worse. But we're ranked like 47th in outcomes with healthcare, and we're the most expensive. And every country between us and number 47 and 1, every country who does it well, they do it the other way. They share their bills. And by the way, because they're all on one plan, they also negotiate with like food manufacturers. Their food is healthier. They have less preservatives in their food. They are not able to be persuaded by big pharma to sell a certain drug. Like they collectively bargain. That's why other countries are so much healthier than us. Because they actually invest in the health care of their people, and we sell the health care of our people to the highest bidder and say, go make billions of dollars off of writing a fucking check when RTP gets cancer.
But you know why? Okay, my point there, I'm going to just go there because you must trust the government more than I do because I don't trust the government for
I trust them more than I trust private healthcare companies. Hell yeah, I do. At least I can vote for the people in the government. I have no say with the private healthcare company. They can just deny my claim for no reason. They can just cut my insurance for no reason. And if you know anything about private healthcare, they spend about 20% of the money that they bring in on healthcare. The other 80% goes elsewhere. Medicaid and Medicare, they spend 80% of the money on healthcare. It's the exact inverse. Yes, I trust our government 5 trillion times more than I trust any private healthcare insurance company.
Okay, I don't agree with the government. Okay, and I don't agree with letting them.
Do you agree with private healthcare?
Yes.
You agree with their decisions to like deny coverage? Did we lose him?
Ghost, good evening. Ghost, are you there? Ghost? Going once? Going twice? No? Okay. I don't know what the hell happened. That was weird. That was so weird. I'm not sure. Wow, that was an interesting surgical precision.
Hello? That was Will? Is that what that was? Have I talked to that guy before? I don't remember. All right. Cool. Hey, everybody. That's a good point. There's a lot. Oh, Jen, Jesus Christ.
Surprise.
What are you giggling about?
I'm just laughing in general.
I'm terrible.
I like to keep on your toes, see how, don't want you to let your guard down, so.
Where did Admir go?
I don't know.
He's just out?
Well,
I'm right here.
are you?
Yeah, I'm literally right here.
Okay.
Why, you can't see me?
Well, you just were teacupping, so.
I need Admir to talk for a minute while I bite into my sandwich.
I'm sorry, what? Wait a minute, why are you eating? That's kind of messed up. Wow,
Well, other people can eat too, Admir. If there's enough food.
yeah, I don't like that at all.
All right. Well, Will's back if you want Will back.
Well, bring it. Yeah, bring it. I was going to say, well, while he's eating, you know what I mean?
I lied. He's not back. Anyways, if you guys are opposition to RTP, you can send a request. If you're not opposition, don't request because it'll have to kick you out. So I see a Mariposa in request. I don't know if I'll let you up, but if you're not opposition, I'll end up kicking you down. So we're looking for opposition. So like the live. Let's get up to 25k likes. And I can't see how many shares you got. So let's get to 25k likes. Okay. So Mariposa is not opposition, but
Oh, it's gotta be me. I think it's really me. No, you got all of these MAGA people
it's definitely you. I don't know what is you, but if it's something wrong, then yeah, it's you.
Admir's about to say it's probably him. I agree.
Well, no, what I was gonna say, it's what I find it really interesting is that, you got all of these MAGA people who want to debate and always run their mouth and think they can debate, but none of them want to come up here. Think they can debate, but none of them want to come up here. Maybe it's just me. I think it's me. I think it's me.
Self-awareness is always good. Proud of you, Admir.
We do love a self-aware short king. So
Do you want to work through this on the live, Admiral? You want to talk about it?
Wait a second. Did she just say short king?
Yeah, we established that
a self-aware short
a while
king.
ago.
Yeah, when you confirmed earlier that you're 5'1.5".
Don't do this. Don't do that. That's not even fun. I mean, listen, I'm 5'5.5".
I mean, you say it's not fun. I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah, but I'm 5'5.5".
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, there's a huge difference of 4.5 inches.
No, I had the half in there. It was 4 inches. That's
Yeah, so 4. Oh,
yeah, I said 5'1.5", so 4 inches.
I'm not trying to be funny right now, but I did hear something about you. Will you confirm if it's true?
sure.
I heard that you need a stool to get in the top right corner of TikTok Lives.
That's supposed to be funny or something? I mean, if you're trying to say a joke, you're horrible at it.
I thought it was funny. I laughed.
Well, here. That was pretty funny. Yeah, that was
good.
Yeah, that was. Why don't you just eat your sandwich there? Why don't you just eat the sandwich?
That's my bad.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, so
You're not that taller than me, bro. He's only 5'9".
That's 5'9". That's still substantially taller than you. Yeah, you lowered me an inch, and it still is a pretty good gap.
Oh, Kelly, yeah, that makes me feel much better. Much better. That we're the same size.
You're taller than me, Admir, if it makes you feel better.
I am?
Mm-hmm. I'm 5'3".
I knew it! At least I'm taller than somebody.
I mean, short girls are mean, so it's...
Yeah, I know.
All right, so Scratch, I see you in request. Are you opposition? If you're opposition, stay in request.
That is just...
Hey, remember when you told us last week that you're the little spoon?
I'm sorry, what?
Remember last week when you told us you were the little spoon? I don't know if you remember that part.
Little spoon?
He doesn't remember this, Jen.
Oh, what the fuck you mean, little spoon? What does that even mean?
He said you wanted to be his backpack.
No, I asked him if, at the end of the live, when you lay in bed, and your wife comes up next to you, are you big spoon and little spoon? And you said little spoon every time.
Are we talking about pegging? What? What are you talking about? I don't.
Fucking Lord, Admir.
No, I'm guessing. Are we talking about pegging or?
No, we weren't.
Oh. Okay.
Good guess. You were close. You were very close.
Well, I kind of figured big spoon, little spoon, pegging. I mean,
bro, what kind of spoons are you eating with? This is crazy.
Sporks. He eats with a spork.
I'm just saying.
It was cuddling, the outer cuddle or the inner cuddle. The inner cuddle is the little spoon. The outer cuddle is the big
I'm definitely the little spoon then.
You were right all along.
I'm definitely the little spoon, bro.
What about when you're pegging? I guess we have to ask that question now.
Well, do you know what pegging is?
I do. I really hope that you don't. And I hope you're just
we
misusing
have to
it.
have this conversation.
Otherwise, we're about to get some information. It's fine, actually. I love this for you. Tell us about pegging, Adner.
So have you ever heard of duckling?
Did you get a violation?
No,
Who got a violation?
no, he didn't get a violation.
Oh, you dropped him? Listen,
I thought he got a pegging violation.
No, it was me.
Yeah, I don't. He got a pegging violation.
I didn't like that.
Oh, hey, Jay, do you know what soaking is?
Yeah, dude, this is like the Goodwill Hunting question for Mormons. Like, everybody meets a Mormon, and like the first thing they ask is, "You know about soaking?"
No, I don't know what the fuck that means. I was just told to ask you that. I don't know what the fuck that means.
It's just when you put it in there and you just let it sit, and it doesn't count. Yeah, dude, this is like the Goodwill Hunting question for Mormons. Like, everybody meets a Mormon, and like the first thing.
Or opposition to RTP, but you are restart the app if you're looping. It's TikTok.
I'm just glad that it's not me this time.
No, it's definitely not my Wi-Fi solid. So
She's got that finger optics.
I do.
So RTP, what kind of sandwich are you eating?
It was BLT, and it was terrible, to be honest. I got it from Panera Bread. It was awful.
Panera Bread. I haven't been to Panera Bread, and it's been probably a week.
Hey, are we going to talk about the fact that you went to Louisiana last week and you ate at goddamn Red Lobster?
Red Lobster, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
What's wrong with that? I had fun. I had shrimp. I had itty bitty steaks. I enjoyed myself.
It just like feels like it's like driving to the Grand Canyon and then like just sleeping in your car and then driving back and never looking at it. You were in there's so much good food in Louisiana. You had so many good options, and you went Red Lobster.
Yeah, I agree, but the problem is, when I was hauling, because at the time I was hauling an oversized run, I was at 15 feet wide, so I have designated places where I can stop. So
for you is oversized just like anything above like 5 foot 6 inches? Is that oversized when you're towing it?
So
What is going on?
What I do want to mention is that Admir went from wanting to talk about pegging and Little Spoon to what kind of food you're eating. I think that might have been his His foreplay.
Say, foreplay. Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's how Andrew gets loosened up. They bring him like a croissant.
Hold on, I'm still stuck on that soaking.
Or there's not a lot to tell you about. That's kind of the whole thing.
Okay.
A lot of people did it. I don't know if they're still doing that in Utah or not, but it was kind of a thing.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to? I can Google. I can send you like a how-to.
What do you mean? I don't know how to. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, man. You've misused a lot of terms tonight. I wouldn't say I'm 100% confident that you know what's going on.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to research into this, and I'll get back in.
Appreciate that.
He's gonna go get a foot-long sandwich and then the YouTube machine.
That's kind of looks so crazy to see. You know how like they have those 3-foot subs? Admiral walking out of Subway just always looks like he has a party sub, just waddling out there.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever. I'm just glad that you had a good BLT from Panera Bread.
Dude, let's not talk about it. That sucked. I'm really disappointed. There's a lot of good like sandwich places around here, and Panera was going to be the quickest, and that's for a reason.
So it's like me going to Louisiana and eating Red Lobster.
It's a lot like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not quite as insane because like nobody knows.
Sorry, RTP.
Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna say.
It's not opposition. I'm not them.
Oh, Don? Who's that?
I'm not them.
Oh, Don? Who's that? Well, good evening, Plaps. We meet again. You know how this works. I don't need no introduction. So me and Amanda will go on mute, and you and RTP talk about whatever you want to talk about. Fair enough?
All right. What are we talking about?
Whatever you want to. Is there something that interests you?
Fly fishing.
Well, I like that. Long walks on the beach. I like that. Shania Twaining. All the things.
Yeah. Admiral, we're to go to Italy and eat at Olive Garden. Yeah.
He's looking for a Sbarro's.
Yeah. Hey guys, can I have some Barro's pizza? Pops, if I can, I'd like to start it off and then I'll go mute. I'm going to hear your take because if I remember correctly, we were on that live together and if we were talking about the whole protest down in California. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, that's fine. I can talk about it. I don't know.
So how about you start it off?
I'm sure there's my views either going to differ or maybe even have some things in common. I don't know. The other day, I remember you and me actually agreed on something. That was kind of a unicorn day.
I know. So let's see. So go ahead and start it off. I'll go on mute, and you guys have fun. Enjoy.
Okay, so RTP, do you consider what's going on in California, in Southern California, a riot, or do you consider it a peaceful protest?
Probably neither. I mean, there's definitely people that are committing crimes, and there's most of the people not. I think most people are just exercising their First Amendment, and then you got, like any time, you always have people who are going to escalate or take advantage of a situation. I think there's a lot of that going on too.
So yeah, I would agree that I've seen a few videos of stuff going on down there where, there's people just out there observing, they're standing there, maybe yelling stuff, but they're not destroying property, they're not going after anybody. So why is there such an issue on the left with the National Guard and the Marines being sent there to protect federal property?
I can't speak for everybody. I can say that I don't see any need for the National Guard to be there. They don't. They don't. I don't see a whole bunch of like destruction of federal property. The National Guard could be there, called up from Gavin Newsom. My main issue is just like Trump doing Trump things, where he just is like, I'm gonna destroy all norms. I'm gonna ignore the law. At least I think he's ignoring the law, where he's supposed to work with the governor to bring in the National Guard, and it just seems like he's such an egomaniac that he can't see something happen and not interject, and he's escalating tensions. He's pissing off more people. He's got the police mad. He's going to send in he was saying he's going to send in Marines. It's just like, I don't think this guy ever thinks, how could we stop this from happening? It seems like he always just thinks, how can I force everybody to stop doing this?
So the only pushback on that, and so I'm one of them people that think Trump has an extremely elevated ego. He's the guy. He's always been the guy in charge, and that's how he's always going to want to stay. And you're going to do as I say, or else. Okay, but at that point, and I don't like bringing up J6 very often because it's just it is what it is. It's in the past. We can't change it. But on J6 or before J6, Trump offered National Guard support, and it was turned down. And
By who?
we all see what happened.
By who?
On J6. And so
Wait, who turned it down?
The Speaker of the House and the Mayor of whatever, the Mayor and the Speaker, both.
But now Trump can override
No,
them.
we don't need it. And
But
the only
this
way
time Trump can override them, but Trump can override the governor. He couldn't override them, but he can override the governor.
So don't we learn from our mistakes?
No.
We don't.
What you're talking about right now is not true. There's a
It is
letter on
true. There's documentation of it.
Hey, Pops, I didn't cut you off at all, man. If you wouldn't mind.
Well, but you said what I said wasn't true.
Yeah, I'll explain it. You'll have a chance to rebut. You can look at this letter from Christopher Miller on January. I don't remember if it was 4th or 5th. He was the acting Secretary of Defense, and he sent a letter to Muriel Bowser and said, on January 5th and January 6th, we have troops standing by, and they are under my command. And if you do call them in, here's what they can and can't do. If you do request that they come, here's what they can and can't do. But they're not allowed to do anything, and no changes can be made without my permission. And obviously, like, as Secretary of Defense, there are people above him, and the people above him are the President of the United States. And the President of the United States could at any point call in the National Guard, because uniquely in DC is the only place a governor is not in charge of the National Guard. In every state, there is somebody between the president and the National Guard. But in DC, there's not. They report directly to the Secretary of the Army, which I think at the time was Ryan McCarthy, who was reporting to the Secretary of Defense, which is Christopher Miller, who reports to Trump. This lie is pernicious. And I think this is the problem we have with this country, is that we are 4 or 5 years removed from that. And most conservatives, or most MAGA, still believe that Trump tried to send in the National Guard and it was turned down. It's just not true. No part of that is true. It doesn't even make sense constitutionally. How in the world can the president not call in the National Guard, but now suddenly he can?
So I'm not saying that he tried to send in the National Guard for J6. What I'm saying is I've saw several different media outlets and officials say, yes, he offered the National Guard to the mayor and the Speaker of the House over the J6 deal, and that they both said, no, they are not needed.
That was on January 5th.
Whether that's right or wrong.
That was on January 5th. That's the letter I was just referring to. So in that letter, it says January 5th and January 6th. It might have been January 4th. And basically, Mayor Bowser on the 5th said, because they knew people were coming, but the 5th was quiet. And so she checked in on the 5th and was like, we're not requesting anything right now. But the option was still open for the 6th. And on the 6th, she made requests. Nancy Pelosi made requests. The vice president made requests. They all made requests. Trump wouldn't answer any of their calls. He literally sat in the White House and refused phone calls from his own vice president, begging him to send in the National Guard.
Really?
Yes.
Where's the requests? They were just phone calls?
Yeah.
Were they recorded? Or is it just hearsay?
The one from when Nancy Pelosi was talking, I believe, to Kevin McCarthy, and she also, I don't remember if she spoke to Mike Pence or if it was whoever the speaker. I don't remember who she talked to. Two people. One of them was Mike Pence, and one of them was maybe Trump's chief of staff. I don't know, because nobody would answer his call. But yeah, you can see their calls, you can hear their calls, asking for help, begging for help, and Trump wouldn't send the National Guard.
But you're sitting here saying there's no documentation. It was the day before, and I've seen.
What documentation would you have?
Talking about Trump sending a letter to the Speaker of the House and the mayor saying we're going to have this event on the 6th. There's going to be a lot of people.
That didn't happen.
I am authorizing National Guard, and they told him no, we don't need it.
The problem that we have here is that I've read the letter. I've cited the exact letter that you're thinking of that you think Trump said. Trump didn't send a letter. It was through Christopher Miller. It was on, I believe, January 4th, and it would cover January 5th and January 6th. The dates are in there. I know the letter you're referencing, Pops. The thing is, like, dude, you're on lives all day. Why don't you ever just Google this stuff?
Well,
just look it up.
I Google stuff, and then it comes up with a video of something, and I watch these videos. And I've seen it time and time again, and they were talking like it was a week or 2 weeks before.
How would you figure out what's true?
I guess I'd have to go to an actual government website.
You can look at Jen. If Jen could get
not going farther and believing 3 different or 5 different things that are saying that's what it is. If it was just one random thing saying, oh yeah, he did this, and there's 5 saying no, he didn't, then I'll believe the 5 that said he didn't. But I've seen 5 or more saying, yeah, he did, and it was prior, and this and that. But anyways, we've kind of got off.
But why don't you just figure out? Why don't you just figure out which one's telling the truth?
We're talking about the California.
Why don't you just figure out which one's telling the truth instead of like try and count up how many people are saying it? I can show you the letter here.
So if there's 5 of them saying the same thing and 2 are saying something different.
Jen, can I get the big box? All right, here's the big box. This is the letter that we're talking about. It's from the Secretary of Defense. It's dated January 4th, 2021. This memorandum responds to and this is to Muriel Bowser, the mayor of D.C. So this is Christopher Miller says this memorandum responds to your January 4th memorandum regarding the District of Columbia request for National Guard support in response to planned demonstrations on January 5th and January 6th. So the request was made. This is the Army, the Secretary of Defense responding to a request and highlighting that they are responding to a request for protests from January 5th to January 6th. It says that you can approve the requested support subject to my guidance below and subject to consultation with the Attorney General as required by Executive Order 1145. This lists what they're allowed to do, which I think you're probably familiar with now. Basically, that the National Guard can't act as like police. They can't use like riot shields. They can't use armor. There's a lot of stuff they couldn't do. And then at the bottom here, it says, at all times, the DC National Guard remains at all times, DC National Guard remains under the operational and administrative command and control of the commanding general of the DC National Guard, who reports to the Secretary of Defense through the Secretary of the Army. You may employ the quick reaction force only as a last resort and in response to a request from an appropriate civil authority. If the QRF is so employed, DC National Guard personnel will be clearly marked and distinguished. And then it's signed by Christopher Miller, who I believe it says acting Secretary of Defense. But this is the letter we're talking about.
Okay,
and for some reason, and I think, what's that?
On the letter.
It was January 4th.
January 4th. So they sent out that letter one day. I don't think that's the one I'm talking about because
it's 2 days. This was the request. Muriel Bowser asked for help. And this was them responding to Muriel Bowser saying, okay, we're gonna have people on standby on January 5th and January 6th. And it's
so why
they are under the operational and administrative command. Oh, go ahead.
Why are there multiple outlets that are reporting differently that's saying that there was a letter sent or Trump offered, and maybe not in a letter, maybe he made a phone call like they made the phone call, but saying that it was in advance prior, saying, look, we're going to have this event and I'll allow 10,000 National Guard to be used. And they said, no, we don't need it. Why is there multiple outlets saying that?
Because, and I hate to say this to you, but as I've been a Republican most of my life, and I haven't been a Democrat that long. Donald Trump is the first politician ever who controls what the truth is. And if you go look into the lawsuits, like the Dominion lawsuits from Fox News, you will see all of the. Let me just finish, Don. I did not cut you off, Pops. I didn't cut you off.
You have
Please let me
cut
finish.
me off, and I just roll with it. So I don't throw a fit when you cut me off. That's the only difference. Okay, so you have cut me off a couple times, and I don't throw a fit about it.
You have a question, Pop? You're still throwing a fit about it.
All I wanted to make a quick point, and then you made a whole scene about it. Okay.
Go ahead and make your point, Pops.
Here's my quick point. Trump doesn't decide what the truth is. Trump has his truth just like you have your truth and I have my truth. Okay, he doesn't decide what the truth is.
Well,
so don't make accusations like that about our president, because that accusation is true for everyone.
I'm going to make the same accusation, and now I'm going to back it up with facts, okay? Donald Trump lies to you and all of you all the time. And if the news outlets on your side of the aisle don't lie, you guys go watch something else. And there is proof of this from the Dominion lawsuit with Fox News when they got access to Fox News's emails. And they have Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity and what's the crazy scarecrow lady name? And they're all saying, hey, we know this election fraud stuff is bullshit. Oh, yeah. Like, are we going to keep platforming Sidney Powell? And then eventually there's like, look, they even say in there, it'll tank our stock price. They'll go watch Newsmax. They'll go watch OAN. And they decide collectively in those emails that they are going to lie to you because Trump doesn't want to admit that he lost the election. I hate to break it to you, but that's really what the answer is. And you've got to at least be open to the idea that maybe all of these people you've never met before, including President Trump, might be lying to you. I don't know why you're so convinced that they're not.
So every Republican media outlet, everyone, even ones that aren't Republican, that are on small platforms that are in the middle or on the left, like say Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is not a Republican.
He's far right.
Now hold on, there you go, cutting me off again, right? Interrupted.
Well, I thought you didn't complain about it, Pops. I thought you were throwing fits about it. I thought we decided we could interrupt each other.
I'm gonna, because you wanted to throw fits about it.
Go ahead, Pops. Throw your fit.
So even Jimmy Dore, and he's not a Republican, reports on everybody's bullshit. Everybody, whether it's Trump or the left, he reports on all of it.
Bro, you're just telling me people you trust. You're not giving me any facts. You're just telling me more. Your entire argument is lots of people say it, so it must be true.
You want a fact about Trump lying?
Please.
In the Hillary debate, Trump lied about the tax breaks that he gets because he knows that the rich get these tax breaks because he uses them. And so does everyone.
How did you even get that wrong?
So does every one of her contributors. Did
you get that wrong? He didn't even say that in the debate.
Trump's such a liar. Hold on, Trump. Trump is such a liar. Trump is such a liar.
In that debate, Trump said, I take advantage of the loopholes that you guys wrote. Like, I take advantage of the tax loopholes because I'm smart. You don't even have your story right. He did not admit that, or he didn't lie about it. He owned it. That was one of his best moments. When he was like, I don't pay taxes because I give you guys money and you break the rules for me.
Use them. And so do every one of your contributors. So he's such a liar.
Yeah.
During a presidential debate, he's going to tell the public, I'm smart and I use these tax codes.
Is that really your argument? Your argument to me saying that Trump lied about the 2020 election is that one time he told the truth in a debate?
Trump lied about other than
I just
using not Eugene Carroll, what's her name, and Tucker Carlson and all these other people. You used all them other people that Trump's a liar, not Trump.
Yeah. What? I didn't say Trump was a liar.
You said he lies to us. Trump
No, I
lies
said they
to
lie
us
to you.
constantly.
No, I said
And
he lies
then
to
you brought
them,
up Tucker
and then they lie
Carlson.
to you.
You brought up maybe you didn't bring up.
No, he lied
Mike
about the
Lindell.
election being
But
stolen.
you brought
He
up
lied about the
other
election being stolen.
Lawyer lady. You brought up everybody but Trump. Maybe they
Yeah,
were
he
lying.
lied about the election being stolen.
No, he didn't. He actually
didn't?
believed the election was stolen.
Okay, all right, so he's dumb.
Then so's Hillary Clinton, because she still calls him today an illegitimate president and said that
Great, I don't care. Hillary Clinton's dumb too then. Okay, they're both dumb.
you can have the most
Okay,
money.
they're both dumb,
and
right?
still
So are
have
they
it
both dumb,
taken
Pops?
from you.
Are they
They're
both
all
dumb,
dumb.
Pops?
Yeah, they're
Even
all
Trump?
dumb.
Even
Yeah,
Trump?
all of them. All
Say
of
it.
them.
Say Trump is dumb.
I said all of them.
Say Trump's dumb.
Okay,
If you're
Trump's
not
dumb.
in a cult, you
There
could be
go.
able to say it. Watch
Trump's
this.
dumb.
Hillary's
There
dumb.
you go. Just to appease you, Trump's dumb.
Thank
And
you. So why do you trust him?
Trump's a billionaire, and neither one of us are.
So why do you trust him?
Trump's the president of the United States,
Why
and
do you
neither
trust
one
him?
of us are.
Yeah,
How
you just
dumb
keep
is Trump?
pretty dumb. Pretty
He's a
fucking dumb.
billionaire and the president of the United States.
That
You're
doesn't
dumb.
mean anything. What does that mean?
You got to be awful dumb to be a billionaire and the president of the United States, right?
No?
No. So Trump's not dumb.
Well, he's not dumb because he's rich? Yeah, but I think all the people who vote. Yeah, but I think you guys are dumb too. He did. He literally fell into $300 million. Yeah, he literally fell into it. He fell into it. 300 million. Yeah, but he lost all that money. About 60 pops about 60% of his net worth currently is the crypto Ponzi scheme that he's running.
Oh, yeah. Crypto Ponzi scheme. And that crypto Ponzi scheme was there way before Trump got into it. So all the people that are
Trump
billionaires
started
on
it
that
2
are
days.
dumb. Hold on. All the people that are billionaires that did that are dumb.
I think you're too dumb to have this conversation. You don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, you're too dumb to have this conversation
What
because
Ponzi scheme am I talking
you can't
about,
hold to
John?
one point. You jump all over the fucking place.
Yeah, which is the crypto Ponzi scheme I'm talking about?
At first you say
What's the
Trump's
crypto
dumb.
Ponzi scheme? What's the crypto Ponzi scheme I'm talking about? There, Pops.
You say Trump's dumb.
No, just answer
Why?
one question,
I'll
please.
call you on
If
your
you want the
bullshit
people not to
statements,
think that you're
then you
dumb,
gotta
you'll
flip.
answer questions.
Okay, what was your question again?
My question is, what crypto Ponzi schemes am I talking about?
Oh, the Trump coin.
When did he start it?
Last year?
2 days before he entered office. Who?
Oh, wow. And how long's crypto been a thing? How long has Bitcoin been a thing?
What does that have to do with anything?
It's a Ponzi scheme?
No, his is a Ponzi scheme.
Oh, but is Dogecoin a Ponzi scheme?
100%.
Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme?
No.
How about Cardona coin? Is that a Ponzi scheme?
I don't even know that coin. Is that Grant Cardone?
Oh, so you know so much about crypto.
Bro, there's
that
like
you
there's
get
like
to pick-
20,000
Hold on,
coins.
you
I don't
get
know
to
every
pick and
coin.
choose which ones are Ponzi schemes.
No, you can just look at them. Like
has
if
the
I
most
looked at
utility use out of all of them, and you're calling it a Ponzi scheme. That's
no,
funny.
I'm calling it a Ponzi
You
scheme.
don't know shit about
because
it. And you're calling it a
I'm
Ponzi
calling
scheme
it-
because you have TDS
Yeah, would you mind if I answered my
use out of all of them? Calling it a
I'm
Ponzi
calling
scheme
it-
because you have.
stuff?
Did I ask you a question?
Yeah, you did. You asked me how I know which ones are Ponzi schemes, and then you wouldn't shut the fuck up for a while.
All right, which ones are Ponzi schemes then?
Okay, so the way to tell if it's a Ponzi scheme is one, you were close. One, does it have utility? And two, is it being artificially propped up by investors that, like, in this case, like it's money in to raise the price of things. So if, for example, if I wanted to give Trump $10 million, he gets, I think, like 80% of the profits off of a 3% fee. So whatever it might be, I might give him 30. Is that $30 million? 3%, $300 million, and I might buy just $300 million worth of his coin. And then the next day, I'm going to sell all of that coin, and all I lost was the fee, and 80% of that fee goes to Trump. So it's just an open bribery scheme. And guess what? We don't know who's giving him that money. For all the time we spent talking about Hunter Biden get money from Ukraine and China, we legitimately don't know who's giving Trump all this money, but we do know when he ran a fundraiser for the people who buy the most, the majority of the top donors all came from foreign countries, including China, including Saudi Arabia, including Hong Kong, including India. He's just openly taking money from foreign countries, and that's 60% of his net worth. He's just a con artist.
So you do know that Trump hasn't got a dime of that money while he's being president. It's illegal.
Yes, he has.
Getting any of that money. He's not getting any of that money. You know he's not. That's a lie.
What do you mean I know he's not? How would we know that?
We also know that
hold on. No, you can't move on from that point. No.
All right, it's
you
a
can't
lie.
say that he's not getting that money.
It's illegal for a president to make money off of that.
No, but who would have to bring charges if it was illegal?
Every Democrat judge in the world that's
Judges
already
don't bring charges. Try again, pops. Try again, pops. It's not the judicial branch. Try again, pops. Who would bring charges?
Since you know so much, you tell me who would bring charges.
The House. Don't bring charge branch. Try again, pops.
Charges.
The House who aren't doing anything right now, right?
Oh,
you don't even understand how our government functions, and you're so confident.
They would impeach him because he's doing misdemeanors.
That's how you. That's what. Now it's a misdemeanor. You just said it was illegal, and he's not taking the money. Now it's a misdemeanor.
Or high crimes is impeachment, right?
High crimes, yeah, or misdemeanors.
Yeah,
high
that's
crimes
what I
or misdemeanors.
Jesus Christ! Turn your hearing aid up.
I didn't hear the high crimes part because you talk when I'm talking, so all I heard was misdemeanor.
Well, you didn't hear it because you were talking when I was talking.
Oh, okay, pops. Gotcha. So, Congress, you think Congress gives a shit if Donald Trump is making hundreds of millions of dollars?
I actually don't, because Congress is
I don't
making
either.
billions of dollars.
Who is?
Congress.
Congress and who?
They all do nefarious shit, right?
Who? No.
Congress.
Who?
Who?
Yeah, give me some examples.
Throw a rock.
Okay, I threw a rock. Now give me some examples.
Hit one.
You're not going to pick one?
Okay, so let's pick the most popular one. Nancy Pelosi.
You're going to say Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, what crime did she commit?
Yeah. What crime did she commit?
Yeah.
So, isn't insider trading a crime?
Yep.
Yeah. Martha Stewart got put away for it. How come Nancy Pelosi hasn't? Because she's in Congress.
What's the evidence?
There is none, because she's in Congress and can hide it and lie about it.
Oh, so this is an imaginary. Oh, so this is another one of those things that you don't know evidence for, but you're sure. You're so sure on things without evidence, but I give you evidence that Trump's making money, and you're like, no, he's not doing it. He's not doing it. Everybody else is doing the same thing.
Nancy Pelosi is innocent, but Donald Trump is guilty. Huh?
So far, yeah, that's true. Trump is a convicted felon.
You're so jaded. You damn right. I voted for a convicted felon. I have a hat that says it.
Yeah,
and
you have. We can hear your voice.
Syndrome so bad that it's insane. I'm amazed.
You're making really good arguments.
I voted for a convicted so bad.
That's right now.
Well, your arguments ain't no better. You can't flip. You flip flop. Because just a minute ago, just a minute ago, you said Dogecoin.
You guys got over there on the right.
Hold on, you said Dogecoin was a Ponzi scheme. Yeah, I was nearly done. Just a minute ago, you said Dogecoin was a Ponzi scheme, and then in your next sentence, you said how you know it's a Ponzi scheme, which I brought up utility. Dogecoin has the most utility out of any of them.
They
and
do?
That's how you
What's
know
the utility of
Doge?
What's the utility of Dogecoin?
What is it? I know what it is. Hold on. It's
got the most of all of them, though, guys.
It's the blockchain technology that Dogecoin uses is more advanced than any of the others.
What's the utility?
The blockchain.
No, you're telling me that they have a blockchain. They
Yeah,
all have
Dogecoin
blockchain.
has
This
a
is all
blockchain.
blockchain technology, Chief.
It works. So tell
What's
me
the utility?
tell me another crypto that you can person to person buy stuff with.
Any crypto.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can. I can send you crypto, and you can. If I want to buy that dumbass, if I want to buy that dumbass hat off your head, I can send you some crypto, and you can give me that dumbass hat. You can do that with any crypto that you want to.
Buy something from the Dallas Mavericks with a Bitcoin.
What?
Buy something from the Dallas Mavericks with a Bitcoin.
Yeah, because they decided to take Dogecoin. That's just like paying. So their only utility is payment,
what can
right?
you actually buy? What can you buy with Bitcoin?
There's lots of things you can buy with Bitcoin.
Oh, tell me one.
People have bought in cars, boats. You can buy anything as long as the person that you're buying it from it takes Bitcoin. You can use Bitcoin.
How big is that guy's head?
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
But it's not a direct through a corporation. You can just give people your
What the fuck?
Bitcoin.
Well, why does that matter?
Why doesn't it?
Pops, get the fuck out of here. Jesus.
You act so intelligent, but you're not that intelligent.
I know, Pops. I'm a big old dummy. I hear you, but we're having some big feelings right now, aren't we, Pops?
No, I don't have feelings.
Oh, okay.
So,
You're one of the most emotionally unstable humans I've had the pleasure of watching. You are.
Really?
You might be the most emotional person I've ever seen on this app.
I know.
I don't know if you. Dude, you turned to anger in like 4 seconds.
No,
Watch this. You're a bitch.
Just because my voice goes up doesn't mean I'm angry.
Oh, okay.
That's for real.
You got it, Pops.
So, yeah, you
did great tonight.
Yeah, I see how great I did, and I see how poorly you did. So there you go.
There you go. Big win for you there, Pops. By the way, what's Don Imus most famous for?
A nappy-headed hoe.
Yeah, being a racist, right? Yeah, it's shocker that you chose that name.
Right, I'm a racist. I love driving fast.
Anything else?
What now?
Anything else there, Pops? You want to admit to?
What now? RTP talks?
Nothing. That was it. You did great.
No, you fucking diverted clear off the topic of what's happening on the West Coast. It turned into Trump derangement syndrome.
I said what's happening on the West Coast.
So now everybody knows what you are.
All right. Everybody did just hear you say you were a racist, though. I thought that was fun.
I said I love driving fast. Isn't that a racist?
No.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
You're dumb. Fuck, you're dumb.
Fuck, you're dumb.
I don't see your request. I don't.
So what's your take on the West Coast, RTP? Let's get away from
the West Coast, baby. I'm all Tupac. I love NWA. I'm Team Kendrick. I love the West Coast.
Yeah, there you go. I like Tupac.
Dear mama.
What's your take on the riots in LA?
We already did this. I think we already agreed on this. I think that there's some people breaking the law, and most people are just using their freedom of speech.
Except for, I think that it goes farther than that, because there's shit on fire, and anybody that's burning down or destroying property, and if the governor of California is not going to do anything about it, I think the federal government has every right to step in and do it.
So what were those police doing? What were the California police doing there? What were the California police doing there? What were the LAPD doing? So then how come the National Guard isn't allowed to do police work when they're being sent in? What are they? You told me earlier they were just protecting property.
Yeah, they're there protecting property.
Oh, so then that thing you said just barely about so that other thing you just said is kind of irrelevant, right?
Oh, so apparently the police and the locals weren't able to support it, so the National Guard had to get called in to back them up.
What do you mean back them up? Because you said they were going to stop them from doing crimes, but we just agreed they can't do police work. So what are they going to do?
Create a presence to deter it.
Okay. Well, I think that's a waste of resources.
Well, then every security guard in the country is a waste of resources. We should fire them all, right?
Go for it. I don't know. That's a weird argument.
Right? That's your logic.
No.
It's a waste of resources.
Yeah,
to
because they can't do anything. If you said you needed them to help like stop the people committing crime, but they're not allowed to stop people from committing crime. So what are they doing?
So they're
Just there for
creating
you to like jack off to or something. Check it out, uniforms. Oh.
Yeah, check it out, uniform.
I know. Cool, dude.
So
cool.
If you're doing,
keep bootlicking the government. I love big government. I love when Daddy Trump sends the military to tell us we've been bad boys. I love it.
There we are. There we are.
Tread on me harder, Daddy. Tread on me, baby.
Wait.
Yes, you were never a Republican.
Not to bring this up.
I was elected as a Republican, and you never would have because you literally
You're elected?
are like, you're the worst kind of Republican. You don't even know your Republican talking points. I know your Republican points better than you. You're just like a grumpy old man, and you're embarrassing your side so much they all have to come up and save you right now because you can't even argue your side. You don't even know your side's arguments.
I'm not even angry. You are.
Cool. What the fuck?
Are you elected as a Republican, Doc?
I was a precinct chair and a state delegate.
Pops, I brought Blessed up real quick. Let's let her go.
I just had a question about the whole National Guard thing. I mean, RTP.
Hey.
So, not to bring back, past times, but what happened down in Texas with National...
We talking about the Alamo?
Come on now. What happened to the National Guard?
I'm a little high. I don't remember exactly what you're talking about. You might have to refresh.
So, remember National Guard was requested for the border. And who actually tried to prevent that from happening?
I don't remember who sued Abbott. I can't remember if it was the State Department or not.
Biden?
Yeah.
The Biden administration. I don't very aware. Biden.
I'm not 100% sure that that's true, but you could be right.
I mean, okay. I'm just saying.
Look, I'm looking it up while you keep going. I'll look it up. It's probably not that important.
Well, it kind of is because you have the argument about the whole Newsome thing and about Trump and Newsome and National Guard. And your argument is that, he's going against the actual governor. So who actually was administration back when that happened during the border?
I'm trying to look it up because I don't remember exactly the story. So the way that this should work is that the governor, if I remember the case correctly, it was whether or not the National Guard was allowed to do the work of border patrol. And the even though the governor has the right to call in the National Guard, he can't get them to do police work. Like the same limits that they have in LA and the same limits they would have had on January.
You didn't ask. So no, that's not what happened. So down here in
the border's federal, right? So those are federal police.
Certain portions,
the governor can't.
Of the border are federal, but once certain portions of the border are federal when it comes to actually, the river.
Whole border's federal.
That. Well, what I'm saying is there's a certain point to where you cross over. There's no federal. It goes to the state, right? So we were actually being denied our own state border control due to Biden, right? To regulate.
Well, it was about the wire, right? It was about the razor wire.
It was not just about the wire. It was not just about the wire. He did not want National Guard coming down there, period. So when you find your resource, then you can...
Well, the Biden administration sent a cease and desist. I don't know. I'm looking for a court case. I don't remember that this went to court. I think Abbott sued Biden. Biden issued a cease and desist, and I think Abbott sued Biden.
Opposite.
I'm pretty sure Biden just sent a cease and desist. I don't know if anybody has this.
It doesn't matter, RTP. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
When the state actually is trying to actually regulate their own border, and then you have the administration who's federally governing the actual border that goes through a certain, literally 2 steps in, and you've got somebody regulating saying, we don't want national. So back to National Guard. Is the whole topic where you're on this whole Newsome trip, right?
No, I'm not on a Newsome trip.
Okay.
I just think that Trump just bypassed Newsome.
It's very hypocrisy to say, hey, we don't want National Guard. Newsome said we don't want them. Guess what?
What?
Biden stepped in and actually overrode our governor. Trying
They
to
sent
protect
a
our
cease and
business.
desist, yeah.
Okay.
Because Abbott didn't have any jurisdiction there. Gavin Newsom has jurisdiction in LA. If this was down at like Tijuana, if this was down near Tijuana and this was border crossings, then Trump his authority would supersede Abbott's authority because it's a border and those are federal police. But Abbott's the one that actually has jurisdiction in Los Angeles. Trump doesn't. That's the whole that's why states have rights. That's why the governor controls the National Guard of each state.
Abbott doesn't
And
have
so
jurisdiction
in it's like 10 section 10 whatever the number is, like 1480 or whatever. It says specifically the president is required to work with the governor of the state if he's going to send in troops. And Trump didn't do that.
So this is actually a situation you're not very well versed on. So clearly,
How come all of you can tell me I'm not well versed, but you can't explain what I'm not well versed on?
well, how can you be well versed on every?
Because I do this because it's my job. Because it's my job. I do this every day for 3.5 hours, and I spend 6 hours researching. This is literally my job. I spend at least 10 hours a day researching this.
You know, I mean, that's horrible.
How much time do you spend researching it?
I know Texas well enough to know that what you're talking about, you don't even know what you're talking about when it comes to Texas.
You can't even explain what I'm talking about. Blessed. I like you. We've always been friendly.
You didn't even know this actual conflict between Biden and Trump.
No, you said Biden sued Abbott. I can't find that. As far as I know, Biden sent Abbott a cease and desist.
This was not too long ago, RTP.
Well, could you tell me the name of the court, like the court case?
Nope, you can look it up. It's not that long ago.
Why can't you look it up?
Because I'm out. I'm not going to do it for you.
You're just not going to do it. Yeah, you want me to distrust you, right?
No, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. You see how what you're saying to me is exactly what you're doing. You're like, you don't know what you're talking about. And then I ask you what you mean, and you're like, you got to figure it out yourself. It seems like you don't know.
No, I do know. I brought something up to your attention, and I want you to actually go research it.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. And then what does it say?
It says that Biden sent a cease and desist.
And what was before that? Why?
Nothing.
Nothing? Just nothing. He just sent a cease
what do you mean
and
before
desist?
the day before? The day before that was before that. I mean,
oh my God.
The founding of our country was before that. You were born before that. There were a lot of things before that, but what are you asking? I don't know if you muted on purpose, sorry.
No, I'm just asking you a question. So here's the deal. Okay, so do you even know what happened down the border in Texas during that time period? I actually want to ask this question for you to actually see if you know what you're talking about when it comes to actually border control.
That was a pretty general question. Could you be more specific? Could you be more specific?
The actual case you're bringing up. Why did he actually do the whole entire cease and desist? Why?
Because
RTP. Go back a little further and look into why he did that, and you tell me that.
Yeah. So this was about Eagle Pass, right? This was about the crossing at Eagle Pass. And what Abbott did is Abbott decided that his state was being invaded, so he's going to use the National Guard. And he brought in the National Guard. Right. They erected barriers, including razor wire in the water. And Biden said that's federal land. The governor has no right to overstep me as the commander in chief and commander of the army and the National Guard. And so this was a dispute on who had jurisdiction there. And the courts eventually ruled, after Texas sued, the courts ruled 5-4 that the federal government had the jurisdiction.
And what kept happening after that? What happened after Biden did the cease? Who won that case?
It's not a case. There wasn't a case.
Who won the actual judgment of who is in control of what? Keep going.
The Biden administration. I just told you that in a 5-4 ruling.
Keep going.
You asked me who won. I just told you.
No. I want you to keep going through the actual.
There's no more to that answer. That's the end of the answer. Who won the case? Biden.
No, actually.
You just asked me who won.
So National Guard came in, and guess what happened? They cut the wires.
All right.
They cut it down here in Texas. They're like, you know what? We're part of. No. So we actually, National Guard came in and started saying, you know what? We're going to cut. And it was not about in the water. It was outside of the water. Outside of the actual border section is where there was wire also.
Bro, what? I have no
People
clue
were
what
actually
you're
just stepping over.
All right.
Okay, well, exactly. That's my point.
And then what? And then what?
And I'm just saying, like, you don't know what you're talking about.
I do feel like that most people in here feel like it's probably you who doesn't know what you're talking about.
So somebody from Texas who knows exactly what's going on, and you had no clue what I actually was talking about when I came up here. You had no clue. So I have no idea what I'm talking about.
You brought up a case that never happened. You're bringing up a case that never happened. You said the Biden administration sued.
RTP, you don't even know what I was talking about when I came up here. No.
Because that didn't happen. The thing that you claimed when you came up here was that the Biden administration sued Texas, and that didn't happen. They sent a cease and desist, and then Texas sued them.
I was bringing up the fact that you.
But
said
of course, you live there though, so it's probably different.
I don't do gaslighting very well, so
that's not gaslighting, ma'am. With all due respect, that's exactly what you said.
Okay.
Look, ask the chat if that's what you said. Ask them.
You know what?
This is a little silly.
When
hold on a second.
WRTP knows about Texas. RTP knows everything about the border states. He knows everything about economics. I mean, are y'all buying this? That he knows everything about all the other intricate parts about the entire country and all the economics. This is insane.
Do you think you're making a good argument right now? Seems like you're just attacking me.
Well, I just
it seems like you're a little frustrated. It seems like you're a little frustrated right now with how this conversation went. So now what you're doing is you're just like, he doesn't really know. Look, with all due respect, I don't know everything. I don't know everything, but I work my fucking. But I work. I do. Hold on, man. With all due respect, man. With all due respect, can I get my answer out, please? Thank you. I don't know everything. There's a lot of things I don't know. I don't talk about shit I don't know about, which is why when you brought this up, I started Googling it. And Google, everything I see is different than what you're saying. I was willing to have this conversation and look it up. But now when I'm looking stuff up, you seem to get frustrated, and I ask you for your sources, and you tell me to look it up again, so I look it up again. This is me. Not only do I do all the work for me, I'm also doing your work right now because I'm a fucking gentleman. That's why. But I'm the only one doing work right now, so don't be surprised. Don't be surprised when the whole audience thinks you don't know what you're talking about, and they might listen to me because I put in the work and you don't.
Now I live here, and I know.
That doesn't mean anything. With all due respect, that means nothing. I know lots of people in Arizona that could not tell you what's going on in Arizona.
RTP, respectfully, when I come up here and ask you about something, and you said, "Hey, I don't know about this," and you have to Google something, and you're reading it line by headline, and I'm like, "Okay, keep going."
Ma'am, the thing you asked for doesn't exist. The thing that you asked for doesn't exist. You said the lawsuit where the Biden administration
$1,000%. But when you talk about,
so why don't we reform it?
I'm ready for it. So what do you want to do?
Why isn't Congress reforming it?
I'm on the same page.
Are you demanding your Republicans in Congress do something? Because why aren't they writing a bill?
Do what?
Hold on just a second. If you're having issues with the, hold on, Les. If you're having issues with the live freezing up, just swipe out and come back in. It's not the Wi-Fi, because Jen's Wi-Fi is perfect. It's just TikTok is doing some weird shit. So just scroll out and come right back in.
Alrighty.
There we go. Distracted. Bless. If you want to repeat the question, I don't remember what it was.
No, I was just saying if people have issues with the internet, they just need to swipe out.
Not you, Admir. I was asking Blessed.
Oh, my
No,
bad.
I just came in here to like stir the pot. That's all. I just came in here.
Well,
and
you
just,
stirred it. You stirred
I
it.
did.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that's all I'm here for.
Appreciate you
All right.
coming with us.
God bless Texas.
God bless Texas. And come down the border, RTP. I'll take you
I
down
live in
there.
a border state. I'm at the border all the time.
We'll come to Texas.
I don't think they'll like me much in Texas. I'm gonna
Well,
stay
you know
away.
what? I saw your hat the other day as you were doing a little video about forest fires.
That's
Protect
right.
forest fires as you were.
You're gonna bring up
Well,
LA right now?
hang on
So
for 1
stupid.
second.
Get out
I
of
gotta
here.
give you shit on that, dude.
That's not even a forest fire. That's
Okay,
just
as the
these.
literally,
that's
like,
rich people
your
living in
side is
places.
like burning everything down. Hang on.
That's rich
No, let me
people's
finish.
fault. They built on mountains where it's
No.
impossible to clear it out, and they
Can I
won't leave.
finish?
All right, go
So
ahead.
as your side is burning everything down, you wore a hat that said "Protect Forest Fires." I'm like, okay.
Well, that was actually from like before all this happened. It's just a newer clip.
Well, that was rich. I'm just gonna say that, and then I'm gonna drop. So
All right.
y'all enjoy.
Well, is there anybody in the box? I was weird when everybody just leaves me up here. Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about burning everything down in LA either. I felt like that was probably the end of that conversation. We just let that one drop. Admir, what the hell are you doing? You're gonna leave me sitting here alone? Mass announced curfew. What's the curfew in LA? Look that up. Admir, did we lose Admir?
No, I'm here. I was just trying to.
Why are you making this
like,
so fucking awkward? Why are you making me just sit here by myself?
No, I was
You're a
trying to
terrible
let
host.
Jen in. I was trying to let Jen in, but for some reason, I couldn't get her up.
Is that a common problem, Admir, getting things up?
Oh, it's not nice.
Damn.
Wow. Okay.
Holy shit.
Sorry.
Wow.
My
That was
bad.
a good one, Jen.
I mean, I didn't eat. It's not my fault. He set it up. It's not my fault.
Well, I'm just glad that this time I cannot be blamed for the Wi-Fi.
It's TikTok. The Wi-Fi is working. Anyway, so I see Fuzzard requests. We're only taking opposition, and I see Illusion requests. So if you guys are opposition RTP, are you like in a wind tunnel?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
No, I'm driving by. What's that?
I know. I hear all the wind. So.
Oh, I'm in my convertible golf cart.
You guys are opposition, send a request. If you're not opposition, please don't request. And let's get the likes up to 50K.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, thanks, Amanda. I mean, that was interesting. In 2.5 years, I have never heard her talk, and we've been on panels 100 times together. I've never heard her talk. That was interesting.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, but I mean, she did prove RTP wrong on a few things. So,
I am trying to get one more person up here that I think would be phenomenal.
listen, Goon will not come up here. I have tried. Goon's not a debater like that.
What? Goon is a great debater. What?
Yeah, I mean,
Goon?
now who's,
Hold on,
now
we're
who's
talking-
stirring
Are
the pot?
you kidding
What
me?
pot's
No,
stirring?
hold
I love
on.
it.
Are we talking about MJ or Goon? Because if you want to talk about
Okay.
MJ, I will
Both
give
of
you
them
that. He
are
is a
great. Don't talk bad about Goon.
I'm not talking to listen. Goon will literally destroy me, right? I'll give him that. I will give him that. But he's not a debater. MJ is the debater.
That's
He's not
wild.
okay.
That's wild.
That's just my opinion.
Did you not see him on my live today all day?
Yeah. Yes, I did. I'm just saying, in my opinion, out of both of them, MJ is the one who debates. Goon is just there for the show. He's there to look pretty.
That's crazy. But okay. If that's your opinion, you're entitled to it.
Just saying, it is what it is.
I really would. You know what? Hold on. Let me.
Goon is not gonna come up. I can guarantee you. MJ will. MJ and Jay have talked, right?
Yeah, I like MJ. He's nice.
Yeah, MJ's pretty cool. You know, I've got to. You know, I'm gonna reach out to Etheria. I'm definitely gonna reach out to Etheria. I think we need to make this shit happen.
What are you talking about?
You and OM.
Debating?
Yeah.
All right. We could do it. I'm going to be honest. I don't think anybody really cares. I'm going to be honest. I don't think anybody really cares to see that. But we can...
People would love to see that. I just don't think. I don't think he would. I don't think he would. You know, unless it's on a space where he gets to control it. But I'm gonna reach out to Etheria and find out.
Hey, Scott, the box is open, bud. I'm not going to debate you from the comments. It's a debate platform. I'm sat here for 3 hours. Come up.
Scott's pretty cool. You guys have talked before.
I think Scott thinks it's hypocritical that I think Trump didn't send the troops on January 6th, but he did in California. And I think that if we're just being honest, there is a difference between January 6th and California. And it's that in D.C., the National Guard reports directly to the Army, meaning Donald Trump is their commander-in-chief. There is nobody in between. But in every state, the governor controls the National Guard. So D.C. is like an exception. So that's why it's not hypocritical. There's two different rules.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Well, howdy.
Hey, Scott.
Well, you know how this shit operates. So have fun. I'm going on mute.
Yeah, I just think it's like mind-boggling that you see California in this current state. And you're just like, yeah, it's mostly peaceful. I'm like, it's not a big deal.
I didn't
like,
say any of that.
I don't know why you can't, like, it's so hard to just call it a riot. Like, just call it a riot.
I didn't say any of that. I didn't say any of that.
I literally heard you say mostly peaceful protesting.
Yeah, I think most of the people there aren't committing crimes. Do you have evidence that like a majority of the people are committing crimes?
Yeah, there's riots going on. The vast majority of the shit that's going on is rioting, yes.
Did you hear
crimes? Can you prove that statistically people are not committing crimes?
I'm just basing it on the sheer amount of people that I've seen. And in every video, there's far more people not committing crimes than committing crimes.
Okay, so you want me to give you statistical evidence to point, but you can base yours off purely what you see?
Whatever.
You said give me the percentage of the people that are committing crime compared to those who are not.
No, I was just asking like your opinion because I'm looking at the same videos you are. Are you saying that the videos that you're seeing?
No.
Are you saying that but chill, just chill, dude. This is chill.
No, because I'm tired of these like dumbass like backtracking shit that you do. Like hold on to it. Like stand on.
Well, maybe take control of your emotions and have a conversation right now.
No, I'm having a conversation. I'm just going to hold you to your standard. If you're going to
backtrack, what's my standard?
I'm going to call you out on it. If you backtrack, I'll
what's
call you out.
What's my standard?
No, I'm going to hold you to a good standard of having.
Okay, what standard are you holding me to?
Okay, if you're going to backtrack, I'm going to call you out on it.
What did I backtrack on?
All right, so we're going to get back to the point. We're going to get back to the main point, right? So your point was because I said that it is a riot, and you're like, well, it's mostly peaceful. And I was like, no, it's a riot. It's going like fucking mayhem out there. You're like, well, give me the statistical evidence that shows that more people are committing crimes compared to not. And then I asked you.
Yeah, but you made a claim I didn't make. See, when every person that's asked me, now it's my turn. Every person that's asked me, Pops, and whoever was before Pops, both people that have asked me about LA, what I said is that I think most of the people there are just exercising their First Amendment right, and there are people who are committing crimes, and the people who are committing crimes should be arrested. There's been like 200 plus arrests already. That's quite a few arrests. There's obviously a lot of people that are committing crime.
Yeah, exactly. A lot more people are committing crimes than just peacefully protesting, right? Yeah,
I don't agree with that. You think there's only 200 people? There's less than 200 people peacefully protesting? There's tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, there's way more than 200. Do you think the 200 people that got arrested are the only ones committing crime right now? Do you think
no?
But
again, are you seeing videos where like there's large crowds and most of them are committing crimes?
Yes.
Could you give me an example of like maybe one I could view?
The vast majority of the news I've been seeing, people are on bridges, literally tossing stones on moving cars, mainly police vehicles. They're in the middle of the street, burning vehicles, stomping on it, busting windows, and just causing straight mayhem and like burning shit in the middle of the street. Like you can't.
It sounds to me like your algorithm is feeding you only the violence. Like, have you not seen the videos of like thousands of people marching down the streets?
I'm not looking on TikTok. Look,
I didn't say TikTok. I said your algorithm.
I'm not getting my news from TikTok.
I didn't say TikTok. Calm down, Scott. Scott, we both know why you're hysterical right now. Calm down. Have a conversation. Get it together, dude. You're a grown-up. Act like it.
Algorithm?
Everything you see is an algorithm. Everything you see online is an algorithm. What, are you in LA watching them by yourself? Where'd you see these videos?
From what?
From LA. From all this violence you're seeing. Where are you seeing those videos?
What my video I'm getting from?
Everything you see is an algorithm. Everything you see online is an algorithm. What, are you in LA watching them by yourself? Where'd you see these videos?
What?
I'm asking how you're seeing the videos, Scott. How are you consuming the videos?
What?
I'm asking how your sounds. Yeah, I did. I said it sounds like your algorithm is showing you just those videos because I'm wondering I'm wondering, and that's why I asked how you're viewing these videos. Then where are you viewing them?
Yeah, you know what I do. You know what I do. This is crazy. I don't know how you do it. It's crazy, right? So what I'll do is I'll go to news outlets. I will go to the website of those news outlets across the board, left, center, right, all in between. And I look at the stories. I do individual research through their websites, not through an algorithm.
Why would that?
Not through TikTok. I'm not getting.
Wait, why would going to CNN be better than me going through like all the videos I see on Twitter? I think I'm getting a more accurate view than you are. You're getting a curated view of whatever that author wants to show you. I'm getting a more realistic view, especially on my Twitter, which like if you look at, I follow mostly right wingers, so I'm seeing like most of the stuff that you're seeing. But I just keep going with my research. I'm watching videos. I've yet to see a video of like 5,000 people all committing a crime at once. I've yet to see a video of like 5,000 people all committing a crime at once. I've seen multiple videos that we're having right now. Like we actually both agree. You just don't like me. That's what this argument is actually about right now, Scott. You don't like me. And you don't like my side. So when I say that there's people committing crimes, you throw a fucking fit.
Is this what it boiled down to? Is your personal?
It seems like it. It seems like it because we seem to have the same opinion.
I'm so sorry, buddy. Like, you're gonna be okay. Are you survive?
All right, yeah. Let's move on. Yeah, these little tantrums. Yeah, let's move on. If you guys want to have a conversation. And all of that, have a conversation. If not, let's move on.
Yeah, I don't know what we disagree on here. I don't know what we disagree. You think I'm making points I'm not making.
is what we disagree on is what you want to do is obfuscate the truth of what's going on in order to placate and play it down to be like, well, it's not that bad of an issue because it's your side doing this shit, and you guys are all about like this. Oh, we're like the more.
I'm not doing any of that, dude. This is crazy.
Like we're the morally
this is crazy. I haven't said any of this.
You're
making up a straw man. Like, I'm right here, bro. You don't have to tell people what I'm thinking. Just fucking ask me. I'm right here. I haven't said any of the things that you just said. I've specifically been careful with my language to say the people that are committing crimes should be arrested, and there's a lot of people committing crimes, but every video I've seen has showed a lot more people not committing crimes. That's my whole position. You don't need to expound any further on that. My position is arrest people committing crimes, don't arrest people who aren't. Is that an insane position, Scott?
Do you think J6 was a riot?
I don't. What's the legal? No, I think it was. I think that most of the people that got charged with things, it was for like assault. It was for trespassing. It was for impeding like an official proceeding.
I'm asking you a question. Real easy. Was J6 a riot? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so were the most people? Okay, how many people were arrested compared to how many people were there?
I don't know.
Vastly more people there were not arrested. A very small number of people were arrested.
Yeah, right? What I would consider the riot. Yeah, so what I would consider the riot is anybody who broke past the. What I would consider a riot is the people that went past the barricades and pushed through the police lines. I think those people are rioting. The people that went to the Trump event, I don't think they. I think those people are rioting. The people that went to I think the riot part at January 6th was when they crossed the line of the barricades and pushed through the police lines, and at that point it became a riot. But everybody standing outside there just using their voice, I wouldn't have called those people rioters. In fact, I'll say this, on January 6th, on January 6th, far more people didn't commit a crime than did. It was mostly peaceful.
But we said that at the beginning, and you're like, no, that was a riot, that was an insurrection.
I never said that. Now you're just doing a straw man. When did I say that?
You fucking liar. You fucking liar.
When?
We've been in mutual circles for long enough, and I've heard you had this discussion.
Scott. No, we haven't, Scott. We have not been in mutual circles. I became aware of you like a week ago, like a month ago. I don't have mutuals on this app. There's like 3 people that know me on this app. I've never said that. I've always been very honest about January 6th. You're fighting a straw man right now. And I'm sure that there are people on the left who have said exactly what you're saying. And I agree that people on the left lie about January 6th. I'm just not one of those people. Right what am I lying about?
You're backtracking. You're like, oh, I didn't say that. Yes, you fucking did. You went on a whole diatribe about it for months.
I did? Oh, you've been watching my show every day?
You said J6ers were fucking rioters. No, you say J6ers were rioters. You said J6ers were all insurrectionists.
You watch my show, Scott?
You went on that fucking diatribe.
You watch my show, Scott?
No, on TikTok, you dingus.
I haven't been on TikTok for like since the election.
Oh, election
I don't go on panels. I don't debate. I host a daily show every day.
Hey, when did J6 happen? What year was J6?
2021. I wasn't on TikTok.
Yes, you were. Oh my God.
No, I wasn't. You have a lot of bad answers, don't you, Scott? I wasn't even on TikTok back then.
Sure you weren't.
I wasn't.
Okay, buddy. Whatever floats your little boat. Whatever floats your little boat. It's all right.
This is crazy, man.
All right. Hey, look. Be hypocrite. That's your side. That's your stance.
Everybody here knows I wasn't here in 2021.
Yes, placate to your minions. Go ahead. Get the validation in the comments. Hey, everybody in the comments validate.
Hold on, something's not adding up here. Hold on, Jay. Something is not adding up, Scott. You and I have dealt for a very long time.
Do you want to stick to a topic? Because this let's go back to a topic, or because it seems like it's going in the weeds.
Oh, shit, never mind.
Sorry, I have to. Admiral, you're not doing the moderation thing very well. So do you guys want to pick a topic? Do you want to go back to something in particular, or?
Yeah, Admiral, what the fuck, man?
I mean.
No, I'm just saying this. I've dealt with you for a very long time. I've never heard you pop off like tonight.
All right, let's take a breather.
I'm tired of dinguses. Shit gets annoying.
Breather.
Well, it'd be nice if you knew what any of my positions were. You're just out here strawmanning my positions about 2021 when I wasn't even on the fucking app. Why don't we just have a discussion, Scott, and decide like what I really think?
Sorry about it.
Are you
Right,
interested in having a discussion, or you just want to tell me what I
Oh,
think?
you don't look. It's hard to have a discussion.
Yeah,
with
no,
someone
it's
who
me that
dies.
won't talk. I'm begging you to have a conversation with me. Begging.
No, okay. Do you have conversations with people who are like do not have a hold on reality? Can you have conversations with them about a topic of reality?
No. It's
Okay,
hard.
so that's why it's hard to have a conversation with you. I'm glad you can connect
What am
those
I
dots.
not? What am I not realistic about, Scott?
Oh, this is how I know you don't. Do you just hard?
All right. So hold on. So I gotta take over. So hey, Scott.
What you talking about,
can
dude?
you?
I have no idea.
Hold on.
Like Admir, if you want to ride his coattails, go ahead.
No. I'm not writing his coattail, but both of you guys are just.
Yeah, because he's a hypocritical stance because he was like a hypocritical stance on what LA is going through because he's like it's mostly peaceful, it's not a riot. He can't even say the word riot in this context. Like it's a no swear. It's a no word.
Calling it a riot, so that's not true.
Didn't I just get in trouble for this with my own audience? My own audience was mad at me for calling out the violence that was happening, and I called it a riot 2 days ago on my show. You don't. This is the thing, Scott. Like you're just upset with me. You're just upset with me.
Wait,
What's
did
that?
you change your position because your minions got upset with you? Did you change your
I didn't
position?
change my
You're making
position.
this personal. Listen, if you want to have a debate,
That's sad.
Scott, if you want to have
Scott
I did people who stand 10 toes down on what they say and like not backtrack because they're a
he
little fan
has
base.
said both. If you were here, if you
You're a mess, dude. Get it
Jesus
together.
Christ,
Get it
calm
together,
down.
man. You're an emotional train wreck. Let it go, bud.
I
Let it
muted
go.
you because you're crushing out hard. Can you relax?
I'm not crashing. No, you know if I was crashing out.
Yeah, Scott's not crashing out.
Exactly.
You'll know when he's crashing out.
So it's just he has said both. He said that there are people who are doing things that are violent, and there are people who are protesting peacefully. There's both. He said both. So do we want to move past this, or do we want to stick here? Because if this is the point, we might as well move on.
Scott, here's a topic that I know that you kind of talk about. How about if we talk about it as far as the tariffs go?
What about him?
Okay, so what's your contention on tariffs? And we'll all go on mute, and then you and RTP can have it. I think that's one topic that both of you can have a civil conversation. And none of this personal back and forth bullshit.
By and large, I really don't have too many issues with tariffs. I think they're good if implemented the right way. He was a little on the wild side with them, but I think overall he's, for the short amount of time he does have in office, because this is his last terms, obviously. We got to do some hardball playing. So overall, I'm pretty confident that the tariffs will do a pretty good job in what they intended to do. Bring a good portion of secure jobs back and secure fields that we need in America, so we have a safety protection, especially like in the steel industry, technologies, things like of that nature. I'm not talking about like making your shoes and your t-shirts before everyone fucking jumps the gun. I'm not talking about that. But industries that we need to have in order to stay a secure nation, because if we're relying on other countries, when shit hits the fan like we experienced back in 19 and 20, they were relying on another nation for all these things that we should be able to make here and produce. And I think that is objectively a good thing to achieve.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a problem with tariffs being used. I don't think that the people using the tariffs seem to know what they're doing. I have very little confidence that they're going to get deals done. It seems like a lot of people are calling our bluff, and I think that a lot of our deals rely on us thinking that other people care if things are manufactured here, and it makes me nervous. Like even steel manufacturing, if we get that back, it's going to take years before we have enough steel. What's the price of that steel going to be? And ultimately, like I heard Pete Hegseth testifying today, and or maybe it was Lutnick. It was Lutnick today. I heard both of them, but Lutnick was saying today, like, we need steel so we can build up our army. I just feel like we're going to have steel manufacturing and we're going to spend all this taxpayer money to build up our army when we could just develop good relationships with people. We've skewered so many relationships around the world that It almost feels like a self-sustaining prophecy that we're just gonna, or self-fulfilling, prophecy that we're just gonna bring back manufacturing and become like a war machine. I don't know. I don't have much confidence that that they're targeted and that they're fixing anything.
Well, I agree to disagree then, I guess. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. Like, I think that us building up our military, I think it's obviously a good thing, at least strengthening it. Definitely need to fix it. Not
What's
just
wrong with it?
size-wise. No, we need to fix it administratively. There's a lot of waste. A shit ton of waste. A metric fuck ton of waste in the military. Coming from someone who just got out of the military back in April, I can tell you firsthand, we waste a lot of fucking money unnecessarily. So we need to fix that shit first thing. That's like the main priority that we should be focused on. Hopefully that is being tackled. I don't know the ins and outs of every decision being made from the top down. Hopefully that is something that's been talked about for years among active and veterans. That is just a lot of wasteful spending.
Why do you think they're not going after it?
Well, I don't know if they are or not. That's what I'm saying. I don't know all decisions being made from the top down. Like, I can only tell you from what's being said, but doesn't mean what's being
Well, that has to come from Congress, right?
Huh?
Cuts would have to come from Congress, though, right?
Well, they'll finalize it, but the best way to make those finalized cuts is through the military itself. So I can give you a prime example, right? So when I was on my ship, right? So we have a budget each year or each quarter. We have a budget, and the saying is, use it or lose it. When it came towards the end of the fiscal year, they said, use it or lose it. So if you didn't use it, what that would do is they would send a report saying, hey, we only spent X amount of money out of the money you gave us. So say you gave us $200 million, we only spent $100 million. So that's $100 million we didn't spend. So that report goes back to Congress, and Congress will then be like, oh, okay, cool, we don't have to allocate them that money no more. Right? So it starts with the people in the military making smart financial decisions and not just blowing money and wasting it. So when the reports go back to Congress, they can look at it, because Congress can't just look at each and every there, cut there, cut there, cut there. Even Pete Hegseth can't look at every single area and know where to cut. It starts with the commands being honest and truthful about their spending habits and spending on shit they actually need, and not just blowing it just so they have this ginormous spending package to just waste on whatever the fuck they want to waste it on. It starts with them. So I'm hoping we'll get some good leadership in there who's going to hold that to account. Like, hey, look, we don't need this big budget. We can get everything we need with this, and send that report back to Congress. So Congress can be like, okay, cool, we won't allocate that money no more. And they can use it somewhere else.
But they just asked for more money instead.
Yeah, I know, and that's the problem. I don't like that. And I criticize that. I don't like that they asked for more money. So I'm hoping
it just is confusing, because it's weird to hear that, because I think most people agree on stuff that we need to do to fix this country. And I don't understand honest to God, what does this administration do? Why are they ignoring all the things that we want? And instead they're cutting a bunch of stuff there's a certainly wasteful spending that they're cutting, but they're also cutting SNAP benefits, and they're scaling back on Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security, and they're cutting out school lunch programs, and then increasing the military budget. I just don't get it. This is why I think, for me, what frustrates me is that everything I believed when I was a conservative, and everything conservatives tell me they believe when we have a real discussion, this administration never does any of it. In fact, they usually do the exact opposite. And so I always just wonder, what is it that ties people to this administration? They're not making your life any better. They're just giving handouts to their friends and then spending a bunch of money on the military.
The people in Congress are not a part of the administration. This is a talking point that really frustrates me, because you blend two things that are not objectively true, or not objectively the same thing, right? So any sort of spending comes from Congress. We know this. Congress is not a part of the administration. Yes, there's a majority of Republicans, but doesn't mean they're a part of the administration by any means, because there's plenty of Republicans who oppose the administration, right? So you just don't like it that someone in office, and then that Congress is doing something, so you're tying what Congress is doing that's in some cases bad, and then tying it into the administration. We got to separate the two. You can get mad at EOs all you want, because that is the administration. Yes, EOs, administration, 100%.
Yeah, that would be true. That would be true if that's how the GOP operated. I understand what you're saying. Congressionally, that makes sense, but you don't get to tell Trump no. Trump is running everything. You said there's lots of people that disagree with this administration. Who? Rand Paul? There's like 3 people. And they get it, and every time they disagree with Trump, Trump threatens to primary them. Like Trump is in control right now. Let's just say Congress. Like, and Trump says he's going to sign the bill, so obviously Trump's cool with it. So your Republican Congress passes a bill that doesn't help you. Trump is pressuring them to pass a bill that doesn't help you, and he'll sign that bill that doesn't help you. Like, at what point are you guys going to start asking your people to do what you want?
That's a broad statement saying doesn't help. Like, budget cuts are a good thing. Like, that helps.
How's it helping you?
Budget cutting helps. Budget cutting in
No,
general
how does it help you?
First, over the course
They're
of, by
not
the way,
cutting the budget.
course of, like,
They're
10
increasing
years,
the budget. They're increasing it by 200.
No, they increased the debt limit. They increased the debt limit, which
No
means
spending as well. No, spending's up
the
too.
limit was increased.
No, also spending. They've added, I don't know what the final number was, but at one point it was like right around $300 billion that they added in spending. And they're cutting revenues from taxes. So you're going to bring in less money and you're going to spend more.
Again, well, that's also where tariffs come into, because that is a big, even on his first administration, he brought in a couple $1 trillion in extra revenue from tariffs.
We're going to tax them. So we're going to tax people to make up for those cuts that we made.
He
We give rich people a cut.
He actually proposed raising the tax revenue, or the taxes for the top, like 10%, top 5% or whatever.
And then it didn't get put in, did it?
I did the double check.
Not in yet. He said he would support it, is what he said. But
well, okay, well then there you go. Democrats, start making the moves, because y'all been wanting that.
We don't have the numbers. Why don't your Republicans make them?
Republicans.
You guys have the numbers. Why don't you guys make the move?
Who are okay with that. There are moderate Republicans that are okay with that.
There's moderate Democrats that would be okay with that too. But again, why is your party not doing it? Why you want us to do it? Do we have to do everything around here?
I didn't work together. Probably that's kind of what it's supposed to be.
Well, we would work together, but they rammed a bill through overnight, and they didn't allow debate in any. Like they shut down all debate in committee. They wouldn't allow people to even mark it up.
And that's an unfortunate part about our current political system that I disagree with. But that's how the fucking game's played on both sides. Everyone's fucking done that.
Call your side out then. Then call them out.
I have. What do you think I'm doing now? I have called that out.
It doesn't feel like you're calling them out right now. It feels like you just blamed the Democrats.
Okay, I'm sorry. How do you want me to call my party out? How would you feel comfortable with me calling it out? What is the appropriate
I would say when you sit in a live for like 6 hours and you never ever criticize the administration, I'd say maybe start by criticizing the administration once in a while. So that people like you who know what you're talking about don't influence people like Pop. So Pops comes on here and repeats a bunch of gibberish and has no idea the stuff that this administration's fucking up. You started this by calling me a hypocrite. Like, I sit through you guys' lives. If you compare my life to your life, I sure as shit criticize my side a lot more than you guys criticize your side.
You don't sit and watch my fucking lives. Don't even act like you sit there and watch him.
I've seen you in lives tons of times.
You've seen me in lives. You scroll through. You don't act like you're sitting there and actually watching the shit.
I do all the time. No, you're actually wrong about that. Ask Jen. You just don't know about my alt accounts. I don't usually go in on my own account to watch lives. I want to know what your guys' arguments are. See, I do my research. I listen to all you guys. I know what all your arguments are. I've heard them all. Because I listen.
He does have an alt account, in fairness.
No, I'm not denying he has an alt account.
You just said I didn't sit there and watch you guys. I'm saying you think right wing lives spend, and you can make this accusation about left wing lives too. I don't think this is just you guys. Nobody spends any time criticizing their party, and that's why we wind up in a situation like this where we're arguing whether or not something constitutes a riot in LA. Meanwhile, our healthcare, we're fucked. Our wages, we're fucked. Our national debt, we're fucked. Our education, we're fucked.
Why is our wages fucked?
Because they're not keeping up with inflation.
Bro, they haven't been kept up with inflation for decades. Don't act like that's just a new thing.
I didn't say it was a new thing.
I didn't say it was,
Scott, chill. I didn't say it was a new thing. I said we get stuck talking about shit that doesn't matter, and then the politicians don't ever pass anything that helps us out, and then we separate and we go our separate ways, and all we talk about is how shitty the other side is. The reality is that right now, everybody in this country should probably spend most of their time criticizing Republicans because they have the presidency, they have the House, and they have the Senate. They have all the power. And if that flips, then more people should spend time talking about Democrats, which I will be happy to do. I can't wait to turn on Chuck Schumer. I can't wait to turn on Nancy Pelosi. I can't wait to turn on Josh Barrow. There's a lot of Democrats that I can't stand who do nothing but take corporate money and line their own fucking pockets, and I'll criticize them all day long. But we're never going to get there if we spend all fucking day talking about what is a woman and is this a fucking riot. And on my show, I don't talk about those things. I talk about real issues. I do in-depth stuff.
So, okay, so you could say, because, okay, yes, politics is a real issue with our society. It's shaping the function of our society in a legislative way.
Admir, can you mute? I couldn't hear what Scott was saying. Thanks. Go ahead. Sorry,
Oh, my bad.
So, yes, everything's going on in politics, all the laws being passed, the budgeting, all that stuff, yes, has real world effects on our country. I agree with you. But to sit there and say, like, social issues and our social fabric of our society has no, like, it's not a real thing, it's not a big issue, is also, I think, downplaying it, because societal fabric is very much important too. That is a very big important part of our society as well, is what we do socially. Like, those things are important. Because if they weren't, we wouldn't be having half the movements that we fucking have, because most of them are fucking social movements anyways. But we talk about them because they are important to our society socially. Like, our social fabric matters. You can't just...
Why is it important to decide whether or not trans people are, like, a trans woman is a woman? Why is that important to our social fabric?
Okay, so, look, I'm not trying to go into detail about every single social issue that we have in society. I'm just saying, as in general, like, social issues do matter in some context. Yes, some matter less than others, right? But in general, yeah, they do fucking matter.
It seems like, though, the social issues that the right focuses on are all about keeping people from having, like, equal rights. And it seems like you spend most of your time, like, just going after small groups of marginalized people and saying you don't deserve rights for some reason. I agree with you. I think social movements. Let me just finish real quick, Scott. I think these social movements, I agree, some of them are important, but it seems like the conservative social movement is always trying to take us backwards and unaccept things that we've accepted.
Okay, but this is the thing, when it comes to, like, social issues, like, the one thing you guys love parroting this fucking obscene talk about, like, oh, you're trying to take away rights. What rights is anyone trying to take away? Name one.
I don't think it's rights being taken away. I think it's rights not being granted. For example, like harassment. If states don't amend their harassment laws to include you targeting somebody and misgendering them, then that person doesn't get the same right. Like, if I misgender you, for example, and I target you and I call you a woman every single day, I can be charged with harassment because I am targeting you. But if you don't add in protections for trans people, then those people don't get the same types of protections. It's not about taking rights away. It's about never like America, the story of America is marginalized people fighting for their rights against the people in power. Even from, like, that's who we were with England, and then we created a constitution, and the constitution we created didn't grant rights to everybody. Didn't grant rights to women, didn't grant rights to black people, didn't grant rights to native people. And it's been like the history since 1776 is marginalized groups fighting against the government just to have equal rights. And every time, whether it was women, whether it was the civil rights movement, whether it was gay marriage, every time the argument against it is, where does it stop? Oh, this is going to destroy our social fabric. And every time it's just people who are uncomfortable with change, being unwilling to change. I think the thing that America might be most known for is, like, our pride and our unwillingness to adapt, which is why now we're so far behind the rest of the world in things like renewable energy, clean energy, healthcare. We just don't like adapting. We like thinking we're number one and we have it all figured out. And so when things change, we're really bad at changing with the times.
Okay, so a few things here, right? So, like, in general, like, harassment, it's universally applied. Like, even if you're a trans individual, right, you could still say someone's harassing you. I mean, it's still harassment, right? If you say, hey, like, they're calling, like, just like you said, if you kept calling me a woman for some reason and I felt some type of way and you just kept repeatedly doing it over and over and over, yes, I could try to file some lawsuit and say, hey, you're harassing me, or tell my workplace or wherever you're at, right? If you're in school, work, whatever the case may be, and file that complaint, right? Whether or not I do anything about it, I don't know, right? Same thing applies to trans people. You harass them, they can file harassment for that. You don't have to specifically put in there, like, because again, the law doesn't say like, oh, well, non-trans people can be harassed, but trans people can't be harassed. Like, that's not in there. It says if you're a person, you can be harassed. It's a universally applied no matter who you are.
Would you be surprised to know that states like Idaho and Texas have specifically put in laws that if you misgender somebody, that doesn't count? Like that doesn't apply to harassment because they write in the law that there are only two genders. And so using somebody's pronouns is against the law. And therefore you can target them with harassment because the law states that those aren't real.
A law passed or law proposed?
Passed.
What's the actual law?
I could look up the Texas or Idaho one. Let me pull it up.
But see, but this goes to my point where like social issues are important, right? And it may be important to some people, may not be important to others. But like in this case, like you're talking about in Texas, like this might be important to people in Texas. So this is something they should advocate for. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't just write off social issues. And like whether or not you agree with the right and like what they portray their social issues to be, right? It's still obviously important because like you're just now mentioning in Texas, it might be negatively impacting somebody. So that is an important thing to discuss, correct?
Yeah, the point I was making is that it seems to be your social issues on your side of the aisle have this tendency to to target marginalized groups and take away their ability. Like immigration's a great example. Like I don't know if you've said it specifically, but Republicans for the last like 3 weeks have been saying that if you are here illegally, you don't get due process. That's wild. The Supreme Court's already ruled on this. And in fact, now the Trump administration, who was every day, Pam Bondi's like, he got due process. Kristi Noem, he got due process. And then they brought him back for due process. They gave him new charges, released him from prison, and brought him back for due process. And these are the type of things that like get spun into a lie, because if you listen to a conservative say what liberals are upset about, they'll say that we just want illegal immigrants and that we love Abrego Garcia, and they'll smear us and they're like, oh, you guys just love this man. He's a terrible man. No, what we're saying is it doesn't matter what kind of person he is. He has rights. Everybody has rights. I just got back from an attempted murder trial last week where this woman tried to kill my best friend, or one of my best friends. And like, she has rights. She killed her own kids. She killed her ex-husband and another lady. And she got trial for all of that. Even though I think she's horrific. What happens a lot of the times is you guys think that our argument is like we just want people to be able to come here illegally. Our argument is always everybody deserves rights. And I do think that if you just compare what we generally believe to what you guys generally believe, ours is far more compassionate. It's far more in line with like the teachings of Christianity. It's far more in line with like the New Testament teachings of love everybody, don't like give your money away, help the poor, feed the poor, help the needy. And it's just as bizarre to me sometimes to watch the right wing show up in crosses every week and talk about Jesus and then like laugh, give each other fist bumps when they cut funding for SNAP. Or, celebrate watching people being deported and getting ripped away from their families. Like, where's the humanity from you guys?
Yeah, so this is another thing. I don't know why y'all, like, half of y'all are atheists, so you bring in a religion you don't even believe in to make an argument. I'm not saying you are. I don't know.
I am an atheist, but I was born and raised very Christian. I've read the Bible more than 30 times. I'm very familiar with it. I was devout Christian Utah, through my 30s. Yeah, I was Mormon.
I live in Utah now. Actually,
oh shit, that sucks. Sorry about that.
Hey, it's better than San Diego. I can tell you that. It's cheaper.
No,
nicer.
That's great. That's great. Cheaper, yeah. Cheaper, yeah. All right, that's fair.
But no, like okay, even within Christianity, right? It does. Okay, yes, you could love somebody, you could love your neighbor, right? And you're supposed to love your neighbor, but also it states to obey the law of the land, right? So if the laws on the book are saying, hey, if you're here illegally, and the punishment for that is deportation, then yeah, there's nothing anti-Christian to say, okay, well, you broke the law and this is the punishment. Hey, like, I still love you as a person. I hope you do well, but like, yeah, you gotta go. Like, this is the punishment for your crime. No different than like, especially with separations.
Right? It's not about whether or not you follow the law. Because I agree you have to follow the law. But if you applied this backwards, you would say, well, look, I understand that like we should love everybody, but you're allowed to have a slave.
That's not what are you talking about? Are you talking about like back in like when we were doing that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would have been the same argument, right? If you're saying, like, I understand that we're supposed to take care of everybody, but the law says we should deport people, so therefore we should treat them poorly. These people
I'm
that
not
are being
advocating
deported
treating
right
them
now,
poorly.
they're not
Just
being
being
treated with respect. They're being filmed. They're shooting like propaganda videos. They're putting them in cells with bad conditions. They're not giving them good food. They're not keeping them updated. They're ripping some people away right in front of their kids. I'm just saying, like, you never heard this when in Trump's first administration. You didn't hear it with Biden. You didn't hear it with Obama. And all three of those administrations were deporting way more people. They were just doing it humanely, so we didn't riot. The reason people are upset right now is because this is inhumane, and it's crazy to us that it's the people who show up like Pam Bondi and the rest of the Republicans showing up. They talk about their Christianity nonstop, and then they could just treat these immigrants humanely. You don't have to do it in a cruel manner, but it seems like this administration likes that they're doing it in a cruel manner. They seem to like really enjoy that part of it.
Okay, well, first and foremost, like the whole filming and shit, like that's you guys are filming everything.
No, I'm talking about the stuff that like
whole
I'm
reason
talking
the
about
LA
like
riots actually was
I'm talking about the
deportation.
videos that like DHS is making and posting as propaganda videos of them like with people handcuffed walking them onto a plane or raiding like businesses or tackling people. I'm talking about the actual propaganda videos put out by the government.
Yeah, that would be a deterrent video. You can call it propaganda. Yeah, I guess you could classify it as propaganda, but I think it's a good deterrent.
Sure, but it's cruel, right? You think Jesus would make those type of propaganda videos?
See, that's the thing, though. Like, why is it the comparison that like, oh, Jesus would have done this, Jesus would have done that? I assure you, Jesus wouldn't have done anything that any of us are doing, no matter
because
the
you
left,
guys
right,
use Jesus to justify other laws that you pass. You
I-
use it to
okay,
justify.
but
You use it
you're
to
talking to
justify
me.
your treatment
You're
of
talking
trans
to me,
people.
not-
Okay, do you
You're
use
talking to me.
it? Do you use it? Okay.
No, I don't use my religion to justify anything because that's not what I'm supposed to fucking do. My religion is not a justification to do certain things or not certain things, right? Like, I don't use it as a justification. I don't say,
You don't
well,
use it to. When you were talking about the social fabric, then what were you talking about?
yeah, the social fabric of society just as a totality of us being collective people in a country. Social fabric matters.
But wouldn't that include things like not opposing someone using a pronoun, or not opposing gay marriage, or not opposing like sex ed based on religious beliefs, not teaching the Bible in schools?
Well, gay marriage is codified, so you're good on that. That's been legally codified by Biden.
Well, so was Roe. So we're not super confident.
Roe was never
about
codified. No, Roe was never codified, and you know that. Don't lie. Roe was never codified.
Gay marriage isn't federally codified.
Yes, it was. Biden signed it into federal law. Yes, he did.
Did he really?
Yeah, he signed. I don't know how you guys missed that, but yeah, Biden signed in. Gay marriage is federally protected.
Was that in 2024? The Respect for Marriage Act?
Well, he was president.
Oh, it is. Okay, I didn't realize they codified it. Yeah, you're right. 2022.
Yeah, so that's federally protected. No state can abridge that, and if they do, then they're fucked.
No, certainly that's not what I'm more afraid of. Like the same way with Roe, what I'm more afraid of is that you obviously can undo the Respect for Marriage Act, right? If you got enough people in office, or if you challenged it, and it will be challenged in the next 4 years. There will be people that challenge that act, and it'll probably go to the Supreme Court, and they'll decide if the federal government had the right to do that, and they'll use like the states' rights argument. The point is that like that's not dead yet.
Even federally, even just marriage in general is federally protected. So, like,
who are going to be the people that bring that lawsuit? It's going to be Christian groups, right?
Could be, maybe.
It's going to be Christian groups, right? Like who else? It
could be a Muslim group. It could be a Muslim. It could be Christian.
Sure, a religious group. Let's call it a religious group. Sorry, yeah, we'll call it a religious group.
Yeah, it could be a number of religious groups to do that.
See. So this is where we get frustrated, because it's like we don't care about, like, we don't force our beliefs on people unless it comes to marriage, and then we will.
But that's the thing, though. Like, all people have some sort of morality standard, whether you base it in religion or not. There's a morality standard, and people vote a lot of the times on social things, right? Or have stances socially based off their morality, whether you're founded it in atheism or naturalization or Christianity or Muslim or whatever the case may be. Like, you have some sort of base root morality that you have the worldview that you have.
None of my morals would take away somebody else's rights to have the exact same rights I have, though. Like, that's actually my moral line. My moral line is that I am not entitled to more benefit than anybody else, specifically in America. Like, that's my moral line. And I don't think that a lot of times you guys look at it that way. And I think that this administration specifically doesn't look at it that way. I think that if you're going to be honest about this administration, they are targeting marginalized communities. There's something like 20 million people here who are illegal in this country. 90% of them are on visa overstays. Like, I don't know what percentage of them are Hispanic, but I can tell you what percentage the Trump administration is showing you they're arresting. It's 100%. They're not going after everybody. When we tell people like, oh, we can't, these people are coming from war-torn countries, so we can't let them in. And then you let in people from South Africa. What's the difference there? This administration seems to make a lot of decisions based on religion and race. A lot.
That's a hyper focused argument, because South Africa is not the only people who are being let in. There's 20 other countries that this administration is letting people in through the same reasonings or other reasonings as well. There's 20 other countries, and the majority of those other countries, or majority of them, are not white. So it's not like we're just honing in on South Africa.
Which ones which other country did we fly people in and host a big press conference for?
That we flew in? We fly people in all the fucking time.
And then hold a big press conference for it?
Yeah, because this one got a bunch of stir up in the news.
Yeah, because you guys held a press conference about it. That's why. You guys literally flew them in, and you brought them into a hangar, and you used them as props, and you said, these are the good ones. How many of those people that came from South Africa were black?
Those weren't.
Yeah. Why do you think that was? Did you know that more black people are being killed on farms than white people?
Yeah, it was totally white supremacy. That was what it was. We're just holding on to that.
What's a better give me a better reason for it. Give me a better reason. Give me a better reason. I'm open-minded. Give me a better reason.
No, you're not. No, you're staunch on this one. I know you're staunch.
I'm just asking for a better reason, Scott.
Complete white supremacy.
Yeah, I think it's white. I agree. I think it's white supremacy. I think Trump is a white supremacist. I agree with you. I want to know a better explanation for why more black people are being killed in South Africa, but he brought over exclusively white people.
There are more than just them being brought in from South Africa. They got the news, they got the publicity on that one, but we're bringing in. Why did they do it? Look, I'm blaming the media for this one, because they made this a fucking massive.
They didn't stage. No, the Trump administration staged it. They brought them into a hangar. There were decorations. They gave them balloons. They gave them MAGA hats. They gave them costumes, and then they staged them for a press conference. Don't blame the press for showing up for Don't blame the press for showing up to a press conference that the administration's held.
Prior to that, this whole ordeal in South Africa, right, has been a big issue for years. This wasn't just popped up out of nowhere, right?
What issue in South Africa has been a big issue for years?
Well, the issue that they're claiming is happening in South Africa, right?
That isn't happening, right?
I don't know one way or another. I didn't go too far in detail, but I did see I don't know if he was the president of South Africa, or
their whole delegation came over, including the party that's like in the party that represents the farmers.
What was that guy's name?
And they all said there's no genocide happening to white people, and Trump looked him dead in the fucking face and was like, yes, there is. And then he showed him clips. Some of those, like a lot of the clips weren't even from South Africa.
Who was that guy he was talking to? I can't think of his name. Who was that guy?
He talked to a bunch of people, but it was the South African president. I can't remember his name. But he talked to like 8 different people in that. There were 3 professional golfers that he talked to during that same meeting. They were all from South Africa. And every one of them was just like, there's no genocide against white people.
But there's also,
and he looked him dead in the face and said, yes, there is.
But again, also this has been happening for years, this whole ordeal, right? Or procedural ordeal. I don't know. Again, I haven't looked into it that much, but there are a bunch of videos. Even the South African president, he was given an interview, and the guy directly asked him, hey, would you commit a genocide of the white farmers? And he goes, well, I can't say that it won't happen. He never denied it. He never said he wasn't
the president. That was the guy. That was a guy that represents. No, that's a guy that represents a minority party, which is like represents 3% of the government.
Okay, either way, I'm saying like this had been this
Not either
ordeal.
way.
That's
This
been going
isn't
on.
happening. I think you're trying to avoid, like, I don't know why it's hard for you to believe that an 80-year-old white guy from New York whose parents, and family fled Germany. Almost every 80-year-old white guy I know is racist. I don't know why it's hard to believe that Donald Trump is probably a little racist. That's crazy. Who do you know that's 80 that isn't a little racist?
I actually know quite a few people who aren't racist that are that age.
I doubt that. I honestly doubt
I'm
that.
sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. Can people? What's your guys' favorite word? Deconstruct. Can people not do that?
Yeah, but I don't think Trump is deconstruct. You have to admit that you've been wrong in order to deconstruct.
All old 80-year-old white
What do you
people.
have? What do you have with deconstruct? Maybe you ought to deconstruct, Scott. You ever gone through the process? No, everybody needs to everybody needs to deconstruct, Scott. You are conditioned. Society conditions you. Your religion conditions you. And if you don't deconstruct and if you don't do the work, you'll never know when you're being influenced. You'll never know.
My religion conditions me to be racist. My religion conditions me to be racist.
No, I said it conditions you.
To be what?
Whatever there's a lot of things your religion can condition you to do. It can depending
We're talking
on
about racism right now. In the context of racism,
yeah, I'm talking about I'm not talking about racism. I'm talking about deconstruction.
What do you mean we're not talking about? What do you think? I said deconstruction in terms of racism because that's what you guys say. Now you're trying to pivot away from that. So what part of my religion is influencing me or guiding me towards racism?
Yeah, you have pictures of Jesus at your church?
Do I have pictures of Jesus at my church?
Like, does your church have pictures of Jesus?
This church, I only been once, and I'm assuming there's probably one. I didn't look around the entire building.
What about previous churches you've gone to?
Yeah, they had pictures of him.
Was he white?
No, he's like a tan.
Did he look like a Palestinian?
Did he look like a Palestinian?
Did he have dark skin?
You really he wasn't a nationality. You know Jesus wasn't a nationality, right?
No person is a nationality. Well, what did Jesus look like in your picture?
Jesus
He's a white guy, right? He's a white guy, right?
Jesus is God in the flesh. He doesn't have.
Why do you think Jesus didn't look like the people that were around during that time?
Why do you think he's white? Did you believe in the Trinity?
Like that they're one?
Yeah.
No, we believe that they're three separate beings.
Oh, okay, well, that might be why you think that then.
So he just came out white and nobody mentioned it? He was just like the one white guy and nobody mentioned it in the Bible?
No one gives a shit what he looked like. I don't know why that's such a...
The Bible literally says you have dark skin. No, the Bible says that you have dark skin if you are cursed. Your church conditioned you to believe that dark skin is bad.
The Mormon church, maybe? The LES maybe.
Do you know the story of Cain and Abel? Do you know the story of Cain and Abel? Why is Cain's skin dark? And what was the curse? The curse was that his family would have dark skin forever. That's why the Bible teaches that the reason people have dark skin is because they are sinners. And they are cursed because of Cain and Abel. That's the type of conditioning I'm talking about. You don't think about it. When you read that story, you don't think about it. But it conditions you to believe dark skin bad, light skin good.
That's how people might have perceived that.
Yes, that's what conditioning is, Scott. Conditioning is subtle. Conditioning is subtle. That's why every church in America shows you a white Jesus. It's subtle. It's meant, and it also makes the Bible make a little more sense. Like, of course, Jesus was good, so Jesus would be light skinned because if you have dark skin, you're a descendant of Cain. So that's the type of conditioning I'm talking about, where you don't even realize that your mind has been programmed to already think like light skin is better.
I never thought someone with darker skin was tainted or bad. How was I conditioned?
So conditioning, it doesn't mean that you like hate that person or that you think that they're bad. But there's little things, and this is the part of deconstruction that's hard, that maybe like if you haven't done it, you don't understand. And that's not like disrespectful. It's just I think experience helps people understand things no matter what you've experienced.
I'm deconstructing from the belief that when
you deconstruct from that, you have to get really in depth with like your own feelings, and you have to recognize your own implicit bias. For example, you have been conditioned to believe a certain way, and you also tend to side with the party who acts in the same way. The conservatives in this country historically have been the people who don't want things to change, who don't want to give rights to marginalized communities. And a lot of times those marginalized communities just happen to be people with a different skin color. And you probably have never thought a day in your life, I don't like those people. But what you haven't done is like supported a system that makes it more fair. And that's when we say like, that's how you when they say like all white people are racist or uphold white supremacy, it's not like this feeling of hatred or fear or like disgust. It's that it's not a big enough deal for you to try and undo it. In fact, you hold up the party who maybe not everybody's a white nationalist, but there sure are a lot of white nationalists in that party.
Hey, can you deconstruct? Okay, so can you perfectly deconstruct where you're no longer?
I'm just interjecting. I'm just 10 minutes from wrapping up. I just want to put that.
We can stay longer if you want to shut it down, Jen. It's no big deal.
No, I mean, it's 9, so it'll be 9. So just like what we normally do.
That's fine.
I got to repent as well.
Yeah. What was your question?
Can you fully deconstruct where you're no longer having it? Like you no longer have these internalized beliefs, whether it was subtle or outwardly given to you or taught to you. Can you completely deconstruct from those beliefs?
I don't know, man. I think that those type of beliefs, like I've told this story before, but it wasn't that long ago, maybe last year sometime. I walk through my neighborhood late at night when it's dark, and it's like it's a nice neighborhood. And I just I had an experience. I walk past people all the time, but there was a guy I didn't recognize, and he was a black guy walking towards me, and I felt fear. And I don't ever feel fear when other people. And I realized at that time, like, that's just something that, like, I was conditioned to believe that growing up. Like, I was conditioned to believe that, black people, like, everything I ever saw from black people was like rap music and like gangs and the NBA, like the Allen Iverson with the baggy shorts. And I was conditioned to think like they had less morals or that they might be violent. Like, I remember the Gilbert Arenas, like, pew in the locker room thing. And so there was just like a little bit of me that was like, oh, that was fucked up. I shouldn't have been. Like, if I was afraid of him, I should have been afraid of everybody. And it's just something you acknowledge and you work on. But okay. I don't know if you can ever completely undo it, but you should just never stop working on it.
And here's the issue we run into, though, right? That was your experience. You did that, right? That's how you grew up, and that's how what you perceived the world to be, based off whatever reasoning it was, right? That was you. Now, for you to then presuppose that to every other white person in America is disingenuous as fuck, because does everyone have the same upbringing? Does everyone have the same experience? Does everyone have the same thought processes?
No, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm not trying to say that's everybody's experience. I'm specifically saying that's my experience. What I'm saying is that part of deconstruction. You can't make that a universal law then. You can't make that a universally applied thing then. I'm not, and let me explain. What I'm saying about deconstruction is when people say something like all white people are racist or like uphold white supremacy, you kind of have two choices. You can either continue to exist in that system and do nothing to change it because there are still elements of white supremacy, or you can try your best to be somebody who doesn't, at the very least, doesn't stand in the way, and at best, like, you help where you can. And like that type of acknowledgement is something I think is missing in this country. Like the hardest thing for people in this country to do is just like say I was wrong. And for all you might think about me, Scott, like I lost everything when I left my religion and the GOP, everything. And I did it only because I legitimately felt like I couldn't support that direction. You don't have to agree with that, but I am somebody who, when I'm wrong, I admit that I'm wrong and I try and undo that. And so at the very least, I practice what I preach. I don't pretend to be something that I'm not. I don't lie and say like I'm perfect. I don't try and like white knight. I don't sit up here and act like I don't also uphold white supremacy. I'm not making any criticism of you where I'm not making a much bigger criticism of me. I'm just explaining deconstruction, and deconstruction forces you to look at your life and look at your actions and say why. Why am I doing this? And is it a selfish reason? Is it a racist reason? And you're the only one that can ever answer that question. I can't answer that for you.
But see, and this is the issue I have with deconstruction, because it's not just a personalized thing. This is a universally applied application of how to live your life, and saying, hey, if you're not doing X, Y, and Z, ergo you are racist, misogynist, homophobic, sexist, whatever adjective.
That's not what deconstruction is, though. I think you have a warped view of what deconstruction is. It's not. It's the ability actually to see others and meet them where they are. which is a hard thing for all
But
of us
see
to
here,
do. And this
but the
isn't
reason,
like this isn't a right or left thing. Like
well,
you have to
I'm
learn.
literally in the middle of talking, bro. I'm literally in the middle of talking. Literally in the middle of talking.
Go ahead.
And the reason why this is a very subjective thing, because I've just told you that I never had those viewpoints of anybody. When I walked across the street and if I saw a stranger, I didn't care who they were. If it was a stranger, yeah, I was protected because that's how I was raised. Like, hey, if you see a stranger that you do not know in the middle of the night and you're by yourself, be on the lookout. It was never saying, hey, if he's black, be on the lookout. If he's white, don't, right? No, it was like, hey, it's stranger danger, right? Doesn't matter who it was, right? So I never once had these. I
never said you did. I was telling you my experience.
Yeah, exactly. So it's your experience. So when I said,
That's
like,
what I said.
when you tell me I need to deconstruct, you're telling me I need to deconstruct from something.
Everybody needs to deconstruct. Everybody
You
needs to
told me to
deconstruct.
deconstruct. You told me to deconstruct.
That's what I just said. Everybody should deconstruct.
Okay, but okay. So if you're telling everyone needs to deconstruct, you're presupposing everybody in America has that same sort of viewpoint that you did.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that
capacity.
everybody is conditioned. Everybody, that no matter how you were raised, no matter your skin color, there are things that you are conditioned to think, ways that you are conditioned to react. Perhaps childhood trauma that you didn't address, and deconstruction allows you to get past the things that hold you back that are because of programming or conditioning. Every human being, and we all have a different outcome with deconstruction. Most people wouldn't have the same outcome as me. I was raised in a deeply religious, deeply racist, but like we pretend we're not racist community. I probably have a lot more to overcome than somebody who was raised just like a generic Christian. Like I come from a very high demand religion. There was probably a lot more for me to work on than you to work on. I'm not applying my life lessons to you. What I'm taking issue with is you saying like the deconstruction all leads to one route. And I think what you're seeing is that deconstruction makes people view others more empathetically, and that empathetically seems to lead to the same places. And I don't think that's like a product of deconstruction. I think that's a product of empathy and learning to understand that your experiences and other people's experiences aren't the same, and your lived experience in the same place can have totally different outcomes. It's just about empathy. And I think it's hard to have empathy if you're unable to even look at your own life and figure out like the places you've been conditioned to be unfair. How would you ever have empathy for somebody else if you didn't do that?
Is empathy and deconstruction synonymous?
I think they often go together. Yeah.
Synonymous, or do you think they overlap in some categories?
No, I don't think they're the same thing. Like the deconstruction is a process. Empathy is a feeling. I think that some people feel empathy really easily. It wasn't something that came terribly easy for me. Some people are just naturally good at it.
Yeah,
I think men generally were not as good at it.
Yeah. Humans, okay. Empathy is a human emotion, and humans have a wide variety of emotions, and humans have a wide variety of implementing these emotions. Some people are completely without empathy, sociopaths and psychopaths, and some people are like ultra empathetic to the point of detriment, right? They're overly empathetic, right? So there's like
what would be an example of that?
So there's people who are empathetic. Okay, a great example would be someone who stays in like let's say like a DV situation, right? They're super empathetic of the person. Like, hey, you know what? They'll change. They're really empathetic about the person, even though they keep going back to the same cycle and doing the same horrendous, horrible shit to them. But they're like, you know what? They're going to change. They said, I believe in them. And they're true about that. They truly believe that this person will change for the betterment. Like, you know what? I know deep down they're a good person. I know they're a good person. And they can fail. They fail to see. And I'm not blaming them by any means of the stretch of the imagination, right? Some people said, overly empathetic to their own detriment, but it's purely.
I just don't think that's empathy. I think that's fear, and I think it's fear. Some people have abandonment issues. Some people have a fear of like letting people down. Some people just don't think that they deserve better. I don't think what you're talking about and staying in like an abusive relationship. I don't think that's empathy. I think the most empathetic people I know are also the most like self-assured people. Like they know where they stand. They've learned to set boundaries. They protect themselves, but they can have empathy, and sometimes that empathy has to come from a distance. But I agree with you. I think people can get into a situation, but I don't think you should just not have empathy because of that.
But that's your experience. But I have some really close friends who are the most empathetic people to a fault. Again, to the betterment of their own livelihood, that they would give grace to people that didn't deserve it because they were just objectively bad people. But
those are
kept
the
giving them
actions,
grace
right?
over and over
Empathy
and
is the feeling. You're talking about now their decision making after they feel
No, and they
empathy.
felt
Empathy
that
is the
too.
feeling.
They genuinely felt that, and unless they were lying to me, but I don't believe they would. I truly do not believe they were lying to me. They truly felt empathy towards these people, even though they were not.
Okay, so
good people.
let's say that that's let's just say then I'll agree with you. I probably disagree, but I understand what you're saying, and I understand how empathy could be weaponized, or some people could feel empathetic. So we might disagree, but it's only slightly. Now my question is this: now that we know there's a range of empathy, why can't we just show empathy to people that are here in this country illegally but are working and have never committed a crime? Why not just have an empathetic approach to them and say, you know what, you're working, you're not hurting anybody. We're going to forgive. We're going to turn the other cheek, and we're going to give you legal status, and now you're paying taxes. Why does it have to? Why do the Republicans insist on cruelty?
Yeah, because that's not for one, that's not a universal belief that you have, because there's American citizens who are good, outstanding people, right, who don't commit crime, right, who aren't committing a crime. They still get wrapped up in some shit, right?
I'm talking about immigrants right now.
Well, I know, but see, we want to give a special pleading to immigrants, and yes, I don't like the idea.
Well, the policy only affects them, so this would only be about immigrants, because immigration policies don't affect everybody else.
I know, and I'm telling you my stance on this. Yeah, this is the way I see it. You knew the rules and regulations of this country at some point. You may not have known it necessarily right when you crossed the border, which I find that to be really doubtful, but we'll give some leeway, right? Say you didn't know, right? And you crossed into America and you had no idea what the fuck the rules and regulations were. At some point, you had found out. At some point, someone had told you that, hey, this is what you need to do. Right? And if you've given 20 plus years, and granted, yes, they could have been working, they could have been outstanding citizens, that's all good, well, and fine. And I applaud them for doing that. I applaud them for being here and not causing any issues and just living life and just doing their own thing. I applaud them for that. But if you break the law, I don't care if you're a citizen or not. If you break the law, there are punishments for that. And if the punishment for you being an illegal immigrant is to be deported, then so be it.
Why not have more empathetic? Why does there have to be a punishment? That's my question. Why do you have to have these cruel punishments? Why not have empathy?
Okay. Someone gets a DUI, doesn't crash, doesn't hurt anyone, swerved a little bit, doesn't crash, doesn't speeding, didn't cause any harm to anybody. He gets pulled over, loses his kids, goes to jail, has to go through courses. Nobody loses
their kids for a misdemeanor DUI.
Okay. Ignore the kid part then. You lose your license, you have to pay a fine, potentially go to jail.
Usually you don't usually you wouldn't lose your license in that scenario.
A DUI you will.
How'd the older millennial get 6 of them then?
He lost his license.
On the third or fourth one.
Yeah, but you could lose your license. That's part of the punishment. And whether or not the judge decided to strip your license away, that was up to the judge.
I'm just asking, why not have more empathetic, a more empathetic approach? Because you could still deport people without raiding them at work, without showing up in masked, without showing up to courthouses, without showing up without ripping people away from their kids. You could just do all of this without the cruelty. My question is, why do you guys insist on the cruelty? Get their kids ripped away from them all the time. Why do you guys insist on the cruelty? And I would disagree with that too. Why do you insist on the cruelty?
You don't advocate for that.
I sure as shit do. I sure as shit advocate for that.
I'm calling it in 10 minutes. So, 9:10.
I absolutely advocate for that. You don't know my life experience, but I absolutely advocate for that.
Look, I believe.
Why don't you advocate for it?
You break the law.
I know. I'm asking you why the punishment needs to be cruel. We understand the law is broken. Why does the punishment need to be cruel?
Deportation is not cruel.
Why? It's not cruel to deport somebody who lives here with their family, who's lived here for 20 years, has worked and never broken a law except for coming here illegally. That's not cruel. To then remove them from their family and force them to live in a country where they can't come back and see their family. That's not cruel.
They can come back. They're not.
They can't. No, if you're deported, you can't come back.
No, only if you committed a heinous crime. So the ones you're talking about right now, the ones who just lived here, they didn't commit any crime, they just overstayed their visas or whatever, or didn't apply for one to begin with, they committed no other crime. If they get deported, they can come back and apply. They're not barred.
They can come back and apply. Yeah, I get that. But I'm talking about the deportation. Hold on, Abby. I'm talking about the deportation. Why be cruel? Why not give them amnesty? Why are you guys so obsessed with doing the cruel thing? I understand
I'll
that
tell you
you
what.
get you think it's the law. I want to know why not just be empathetic? Why be
No,
cruel?
I'll tell you what.
Thank you.
RTP, I'll tell you exactly why giving amnesty is not a good idea. It's not a sustaining practice by any stretch of the imagination. I'll tell you exactly why. So we'll use with the rough number. I know they say upwards of 20, but let's say like 11 million illegal immigrants in America, right? I don't know if it's actually 20 or not, but let's just say like 11, right?
Okay.
Let's say with the wave of the pen, amnesty for all 11 million illegal immigrants. Hey, you are now permanent legal,
permanent resident, whatever. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go citizenship. Say, hey, we'll grant you citizenship. Here's your date. Go, you'll get your citizenship. Cool, right? Granted those. Now, what we see is the rest of the world is going to be like, oh, that's what they're doing? Okay, cool. A few years
Change
go
the
by.
laws. Change the
A few
laws.
years go by. Okay, hold on. A few years go by. You have
Wait,
another
no. We don't need to move on. We don't need to move on to this because you are creating a scenario where we don't fix the laws. What I'm advocating
Okay, so
for
laws-
is
okay,
that
so what do we fix the law?
that I think what we could agree on, maybe as two parties, is that I understand that you guys want stricter immigration, and that's fine. If we're going to have strict immigration, I'm cool with that, but we'll grant amnesty. Why can't that be the agreement? We'll give amnesty to everybody here who is not committed a crime, and then we will strengthen the border. We'll change our amnesty laws, and we'll change our immigration laws. We'll let less people in.
But I'm explaining this to you, RTP. I'm explaining this to you. You grant them amnesty, yes. And then let's say after amnesty, we tightened up on the border. We changed some laws. Let's say we'll make the process shorter, right? We'll have more immigration judges, whatever the case may be, to help the process along a little bit faster, right? So it's not big as backlog. But what you're still going to find is there's still going to be people who are still going to come across the border regardless. They're not going to apply for it, even if they just have good intentions, right? This is always going to be the thing. We can't stop everybody, clearly, right? No matter how strict, no matter how.
No, we're honestly pretty good at it.
RTP, let me finish.
Well, I just disagree with you. We can stop it.
You gotta let me finish. So you cannot be 100% on preventing anyone from coming across our border. Our border is
no, you can't. No, you can't be 100%.
Okay, that's
so
my
we
point.
have to be cruel. Since we can't do 100%, we have to be cruel.
RTP, let me finish. Let me finish.
I'm asking you questions about what you're saying, but this is a
You're asking
conversation.
questions in the middle of me explaining my point.
I know, because I'm trying to understand your point.
Yeah, well, you can't understand it if you're not letting me finish my point.
Yes, I can. I'm asking clarifying questions.
You can't ask clarifying questions in the middle of me explaining my point. Anywho.
Okay.
So, again, we do the amnesty, all that good jazz, right? More people are still going to come here illegally. People are still going to be in this country illegally. So what do? Do we just grant every time over every 6, 7, 10 years, we just grant everyone here is illegally amnesty? We just keep repeating this cycle over and over and over?
Well, if we would have done that, we wouldn't be in this mess, would we?
Yes, we would. We'd still have the same issue.
We wouldn't. No, we wouldn't. 90%. Now it's my turn, Scott. Now it's my turn. 90% of the people who are here illegally came here legally and stayed on a visa overstay. And this was, by the way, this is what Ronald Reagan wanted to do. He said amnesty. This is what both Bushes wanted to do. They wanted amnesty. This has been a Republican talking point forever because what the Republicans actually did really well is they ran the white nationalists out of the party. They ran out the David Dukes. And for a while, there was a more empathetic look to the Republican Party. But now, for whatever reason, you guys have decided that you're going to let a lot of white nationalists in. And now it's really blurring the lines. And what we see here is targeting Hispanic communities. You can see all the Republicans today are tweeting about multiculturalism. Charlie Kirk, Matt Walsh, Jack Posobiec, almost word for word. They're talking about how multiculturalism is the death of America and how we shouldn't have multiculturalism and we shouldn't allow any immigrants from third world countries anymore. My problem is that people like you who aren't white nationalists get co-opted into a white nationalist policy when we could just grant amnesty. There's 10 million jobs that are unfilled right now. Deporting people is going to make more jobs unfilled at a time when we need jobs more than ever. We're not having kids. We need immigration. We need people to fill jobs. We're talking about bringing back manufacturing jobs, and Lord knows Americans aren't going to work those jobs. And so we're going to need to import labor, and we're running out labor because a bunch of white nationalists, not you again, but the people that are making these decisions are white nationalists, and they love the cruelty. It's their favorite part. And that's what we're protesting. That's why people in LA are pissed. It has nothing to do with the fact that we want more illegal immigration. We are human, and we view those people as human, so we want them to be treated humanely. And that seems to be the main difference between our party right now.
Again, amnesty is an endless cycle of repeating the same process over.
So is immigration.
All right, let's if we can get towards our closing statements.
Yeah, so
you have the last word. I'll go, then you can have the last word. I just think that that's what we're always going to have immigration. We're always going to have people who come here illegally, and we're always going to run into problems like this until we fix our border situation. So I don't think that we have to wait until there's no illegal immigration to have an empathetic and cruelty-free immigration policy. And it seems like Republicans are basically saying, until it's perfect, we're going to be cruel, and it's never going to be perfect, which makes me nervous that you guys are just going to continue to be cruel always.
Okay. Amnesty is an endless cycle of granting people citizenship, and it's going to continuously go on and on and on again every so many years. I'd say probably for like every 6 to 10 years, we're just going to grant a group of million people amnesty, and it's never going to solve that problem. Yes, I am for strengthening the border. I am for making our immigration system more efficient. I am all for that. I'm not against that whatsoever. But I am 100% keeping on the books that if you do overstay your visa in any capacity and you're caught doing it, you should be deported. I do not think that's cruel by any means. The rest of the world does the same thing. Why should we be any different? We're a sovereign nation. We have the rights to the borders that we have and how we run those borders. And if you break the laws of that border, of that nation, and the punishment for that is deportation, that is perfectly fine for me. I have no issue with doing that whatsoever. There's more than enough resources for people to do it. There's more than enough information out there for people to understand how to do it. There's plenty of attorneys that can help you. Yes, again, we can improve that by adding more to make the process faster and more efficient, because I'm for legal immigration 100%. If they want to come here, I have no problem with that. Bring them all in. Just come the right way. That's all I ask. That's all I care about. If you want to break the law, then go. If you get deported, you get deported. That's the simple rule, and I stand by that 100%. I don't think it's cruelty in any capacity whatsoever to deport people who break the law.
What about just one follow-up question? Is it cruel if you say it's not deporting them, the way that we're deporting them, filming them, making these videos, sending a lot of people to prison without due process in El Salvador, is that cruel?
Sending them to El Salvador with no due process?
Yeah.
If they had no due process, then yeah, that's a problem. I agree that you should have due process.
So was it cruel to send Abrego Garcia to that prison?
That's up for debate. Some people say he had due process. Some people said he didn't.
I'm asking your opinion, though.
For him specifically, no, I don't think it was cruel for him, no.
So even though he didn't get due process and he got a life sentence in prison, it's not cruel?
No, I think there was enough due process. I think he did have his due process for it.
All right, it's
Thanks,
just a whole other bit.
It was good talking to you, Scott.
Yeah.
Scott, thank you very much for coming up, man. I appreciate that.
Thanks for having me up. I appreciate it.
No worries, man. Thank you. RTP, as usual, it was fun. I actually learned a lot, bro. Between you and Scott. So it was very interesting. I think Pops definitely dog walked you.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, definitely Pop and his hat, definitely.
That's fair. W-Pop.
Yeah. Amanda, thank you very much for bringing your maggots over here.
Hey. I'm already getting enough heat. Calm down with the words. Calm down.
And it's just a start. And it's just a start. So, Jen, thank you very much for holding it down. Etheria is still number one. Just so y'all know.
You gotta teach this dude how to use a phone. This is crazy.
We can't hear you. All right. I'm
Yes.
You're cutting out. All right. Bye, guys.
Well, thank you guys. You guys stay safe. Thank you. Agent, can you just shut down the live?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
Crossing into the middle.